No light. No. Yeah. Okay, good evening. Welcome to this special meeting of the new and Old Malden Neighbourhood Committee, whether here in person or watching on the webcast. My name is Councillor Leslie Heap and I'm chairing the meeting this evening. In the event of an emergency and the sounding of the alarm, the emergency evacuation procedure is to leave by the fire exit, which is a fire exit, and conjugate at the front of the building near the car park. Anyone requiring assistance should remain in their seats and an officer will assist you from the building. This meeting is filmed for live broadcasts on the Council's YouTube channel and an archive version will be available to view on the Council's website after the meeting finishes. The broadcast will be suspended during any adjournments in proceedings and if the committee resolves to consider information as exempt business. Please can everyone present in the meeting ensure their mobile phones are turned off or in the silent mode during this meeting. Thank you. Those residents are reminded if you want to make a comment on an item or a question in the next meeting, could you fill out the green slips, which are, I believe, on the table. Sam Nichols will collect them from you. In the interest of efficiency and time, there may be a limitation on the number of speakers, as there's a lot of business to consider this evening, not just this meeting, but the one we've got subsequently within this time frame. So can I ask everybody to be succinct with their comments? And also, in this first meeting, it is comments, not questions. OK, so if you could bear that in mind as well. All right, so quickly on to introductions. I'm Councillor Heap, chairing the neighbourhood. So I have, starting from my right-hand side, if councillors would just like to briefly introduce themselves, we'll go round. Thank you.
Hello, Councillor Andrew Bolton, Combe Vale Ward.
Councillor Andy Sillett, Combe Vale.
Good evening, Kamala Coogan, Combe Vale Ward.
Hello, Councillor Yvonne Tracy from Green Lane and St James Ward.
Councillor James Giles, Green Lane and St James Ward.
Lynn Henderson, Motts Park and Old Malden East Ward.
Good evening, Mark Darren from New Malden Village Ward.
Councillor Robert Kim from New Malden Village Ward.
Good evening, is Councillor Elizabeth Park, Old Malden.
Good evening, Councillor Massimi, Old Malden.
Thank you. Could you take your seats quickly, please, because we've already started the meeting. Thank you. We also have a number of officers this evening to give an overview of the report and advice during the meeting. So I'd like to introduce Matt Hill, Director of Highways, Yunus Hamadi, Principal Engineer, George Vickers, is not here yet, he's coming later, Ralph Hyde, our Neighbourhood Manager, and Sam Nichols to my right for Democratic Services. Right, what do we go on to next? Yeah. So the first item is apologies for absence. Chair, do we have any apologies for absence and any substitute members? Sam, thank you.
No, Chair, no apologies this evening.
Thank you. Declarations of interest. Members are asked to declare any disclosable pecuniary interests or any other registrable or non-registrable interests relevant to items on this agenda. Does anybody have anything to declare? Councillor Kim?
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to declare two potential conflict of interest. One of that from the one applicant applying for the community grant, Nanum UK.
Sorry, Kim, that's the next meeting.
Yeah,
okay. This is
I'll
just
do the
for
next
the
one
yellow
then.
box junction.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Yeah. Right. So that's no declarations of interest. Good. Right. So we're going to have the report for information. I propose that the information contained in this report be noted. Do I have a seconder for that?
I second that, Chair.
Thank you. We have attendance Matt Hill tonight, Assistant Director of Highways Transport Regulatory Services, and I'll welcome him if he could give a summary of your report. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. As you say, I will just give a summary of the report. I don't intend to read the entire report out. Members have that in front of them. The recommendations I will read. So the committee is asked to resolve that the historical context, enforcement data and collision statistics provided in the report be noted. The officer assessment of the current junction configuration and enforcement regime are legally compliant and proportionate be noted. And the proposal to maintain the current layout whilst implementing technical changes to separate enforcement data out for reporting the two junctions separately be approved. The second page of the report just highlights the reason why we're having a special meeting, which is the requisition that was called by 3 members of the committee. Again, I won't read the full thing out, but the requested actions were to A, receive and scrutinise data on PCN's income and collision and traffic statistics for Kingston Road, Yellow Box Junction, consider whether the current configuration, signing and enforcement regime are appropriate and proportionate, and agree any recommendations to place committee and or relevant portfolio holder on any changes to design, signing, enforcement policy or communication for this junction. The report then just sets out a bit of the history, so points out that we've had 2 yellow box junctions nearly opposite each other, one at the junction of Kingston Road with Elm Road and one at the junction of Kingston Road with Westby Road, as shown on the screen above. Have both been in situ since at least 2015. Camera enforcement on the 2 yellow boxes commenced on the 8th of June 2020, and the layout of the junctions was modified in 2022 as part of the Council's Go Cycle project, and with some further minor modifications following a road safety audit in late 2022. The report sets out why officers believe that the junctions are compliant with the traffic signs, regulations and general directions 2016 and are therefore lawful, and drivers who enter a box junction are liable to be issued with a penalty charge notice. I've set out a little bit in the next section about the enforcement of the junction. As I've said, unfortunately for historical reasons, all tickets issued at Kingston Road don't distinguish between the 2 yellow boxes. So any numbers you've seen which just say Kingston Road can be assumed to cover both junctions. However, we've done a manual spot check, and of the professional view is that around 70% of the PCNs are issued on the Elm Road yellow box junction and 30% on the Westbury Road one. There's a table in the report under paragraph 10 that shows that the number of penalty charge notices is declining year on year over time. I will qualify that by saying the 25-26 numbers are only to the end of December. And to the end of December, we've issued 5,530 PCNs at both sites this financial year, so from April to December. Of those, 4,764 have been paid with a total value of £413,000. We've written off 1.9% and cancelled 4%. And what I've just explained in the report is a bit of a difference between writing off and cancelled, but basically cancelled is where appeals have been successful at one or other stage in the process, so around 4%. In total, the contraventions at these yellow box junctions account for about 15% of our moving traffic violations in the borough in the calendar year. I've just also noted that any surplus income generated by enforcing yellow box junctions and indeed other traffic offences has to be ring-fenced for certain uses which are set out in legislation and are not considered part of the Council's general fund. These uses include highways maintenance and concessionary travel passes such as the Freedom Pass. We do believe that contraventions are declining over time, and the 21-22 year had the highest volume of PCNs at this junction of over 10,000. It's worth noting that a very small number of PCNs reached the independent adjudication stage, about so far this year, something in the order of 50, and that is less than 0.01% of PCNs that are issued here. Of the appeals that have gone to independent adjudication, so members aren't familiar, there's a 2-stage process. So there's, for want of a better word, an internal appeals process where people can make representations. If they're not satisfied with the outcome of that process, then they can go to an independent traffic adjudicator. And that's where I've said that only less than 0.01% reach that stage. Of the ones that have reached that stage this year, It's 18 have had their appeal allowed and 14 have had their appeal refused on the Elm Road side of the junction, and 3 and 1 on the other side of the junction. So again, very low numbers on the other side of the junction. It's fair to say both junctions have got a higher than average allowed appeal rate than the borough as a whole, although I would suggest that yellow box junctions would generally be expected to generate higher than average allowed appeal rates than other offences, such as parking offences or band turns and the like. The reasons that independent adjudicators give, which are publicly available for allowing appeals, do vary. Just on collisions, last 5 years on Kingston Road, there's been 10 reported collisions on that stretch of road. 9 was slight and 1 was serious. And there's around 8,000 vehicles a day travelling in one direction and 5,735 in the opposite direction. That's in the 12-hour day from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We don't have any evidence of any negative impact on emergency services. Although officers, we have contacted all the blue light services. We have had, since this report was written, some feedback from the ambulance service. They did say that they had some concerns around traffic and congestion in general on Kingston Road, but didn't attribute it specifically to the yellow box. Just highlighting why we use enforcement measures. So we really use enforcement of moving traffic offences to improve traffic flow and road safety. And that's set out in our policy. In short, as I've said already, we're satisfied the junction layouts are legally compliant and that enforcement is proportionate. There are alternative options that could be considered about whether to cease enforcement or remove box junctions. I would highlight the decisions over where we enforce moving traffic offences are operational decisions taken by officers having regard to the policy. It's not considered appropriate for committees to determine where and how to undertake enforcement action. By way of history, so we formally resolved to adopt our powers to enforce yellow box junctions and other moving traffic offences in 2012. And that's, I think I'll probably leave it there because then we get into some detailed comments at the end. But I think that's as good a summary as I can give, Chair.
Thank you, Matt, for your presentation. Right, will people take their seats quickly, please? Thank you very much. Right, so we're going to move on to comments from the public. These are comments, not questions, okay? If your comment starts to veer into something like a question, then I'm going to have to ask you to reform that, okay? So it's a comment for the officers and for the committee. All right, we've got green slips filled in, but we did have one registered vote, which was Deepa Vinik, if she wants to come down and make her comment. Deepa, you don't want to make a comment? Okay, thank you. So the first person to come to the chair is Philip Morgan. Thank you very much. And you're going to have a max of 2 minutes. If you can do it in less, I'd be grateful, because then everybody can have their go. And excuse me, when 30 seconds are left, Sam will, or I will avert you of that. Thank you.
What do I do? Press this button?
You don't need to press anything, I don't think.
It's on all the time.
It's on already.
Thank you.
Okay,
Off you go.
right. Well, first of all, my comment is there's no evidence that the council has asked for reviews of any of the decisions which went against them. So therefore, the question is probably begged, why? And also, do the officers actually understand the review procedures, the criteria for review? Because in my view, if you wish to disagree with an adjudicator, you have to go straight to the High Court. I wish to rebut Mr. Hill's assertion that the yellow box junctions are compliant, because I looked at the internet yesterday, all the decisions from the 1st of January 2 years ago to the 1st of January this year, 40 were allowed, and 11 of them made reference to the fact that it's too big. Also, you've got the issue of the plan there, which is a very, very serious issue, because the plan the council adduces to the environmental adjudicators is not the same. The junction, the bottom junction, if I may, has been cut off, and in the plan they sent, It's not the same at all. So that's a very, very serious issue. I'd like to also comment I've given you all the leaflets about my own statement why I oppose this box junction. Obviously, Mr Horton awarded a cost decision because the officers of the council clearly didn't understand what a contravention is. I mean, I myself drove in it deliberately this morning. I came out of Elm Road and stopped at it and didn't create a contravention. Why?
If you can come
Because
together.
there was no car stopping me coming out of the box. So that's a serious issue. And if I just refer you to case number 22503 69138, the adjudicator said that most of the adjudicators are agreed that that box junction is too big and serves no purpose. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Your time's up.
Thank you. Brought the violin.
Julian McCarthy, would you like to come forward?
How was that?
And if you could keep it under 2 minutes.
Oh, it will be.
Thank you very much. So when you're ready, just sort of...
Okay.
Thank you.
Right. The application of justice should be fairly administered. My understanding is that the boxes do not comply with the legal requirements in the length in that they overhang and extend beyond the junction. As such, any application of justice for people who are caught in there needs to be reviewed and people should be treated fairly. In considering transgression, please realise that not everybody who is trapped by this yellow box is actually trying to block traffic. Sometimes the pedestrian lights change and people are caught. Can justice please be levied fair and reasonable with people of applying common sense? It doesn't appear that that common sense is being applied. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr McCarthy. In 1 minute. Thank you. The next person is Sam Wright. Thank you. Ooh, careful with that bar there. Don't want anybody having you. Okay. Ready? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sam Wright. I'm also known as the Yellow Box Guru. I run a website and social media campaign where I campaign for the ethical enforcement of yellow box junctions. This one has figured a lot in many of my videos that you can see online. First of all, I want to address the issue of legality, which has already been mentioned as well. There are multiple adjudication decisions that specifically say that the section of the box by Elm Road extends beyond the junction and is not legal. So I do not know on what basis the council is asserting that it is legal. Secondly, even if it is legal, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a good idea. As a traffic engineer, I could do many things that are legal. I could put traffic lights on residential streets, for example, quiet cul-de-sacs. To simply say, oh, it's legal would not be good enough. The second thing I want to talk about is the traffic flow and the link of compliance with traffic flow. The director has asserted that if compliance increases, then therefore traffic flow increases. So on Kingston Road, every driver that approaches that box is supposed to stop before the box and wait for the car in front of them to completely clear the box. That reduces traffic flow. If you go on my website, you'll see a video. I've carried out vision modelling of this sort of scenario. Every driver stopping and wait for the car in front to go ahead can reduce traffic flow by up to 50%. There is no evidence that yellow boxes improve traffic flow. They reduce traffic flow. Potentially, maybe, you might get a benefit on the side roads. But it seems to be quite perverse to enforce a main A road with bus routes so that you might benefit some traffic on a side road. So we just need to make that clear. No evidence of benefits of traffic flow. And if you read the report, you will see there's no claimed benefits of traffic flow either. There's no evidence to show that. Next point is on safety. There's no evidence that yellow boxes improve safety either. No evidence. In terms of options, yes, enforcement can be stopped. A very small option that you could do would be to cut back the yellow box by Elm Road, the part that's been declared illegal by the adjudicator, or simply not enforce that part of the box as well.
Thank you. Your time's up.
Okay.
The next person is Mark Ravalani. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
That's the Fountain Roundabout. Okay, thanks.
This one.
Raju Pandya. Thank you. that it? Yeah.
Thank you very much, Chair. I'm here as a local resident to say that the yellow box on Elm Road has been a complete mess, with all due respect. It hasn't made things safer, to be honest, or smoother. It has made the junction more stressful. I'll give you an example. When you're approaching from Kingston Road to the traffic light and you see a gap, so you try to move and suddenly someone from the Elm Road will come in and take that space and you're stuck on the yellow box. Not doing it deliberately, but then you end up with a fine. Is that fair? It's made the junction more stressful, more confusing, and it's punishing ordinary drivers who are just trying to get through New Malden. That's all. Nothing more. Is that a crime? What really angers people is the feeling this has become a money-making scheme. Okay? Yeah. Not a traffic solution, right? Hundreds of thousands raised while residents complain are brushed aside. I've had people stopping me on the road saying, what are we going to do about this? The length of the Elm Road junction is too long. I think by reducing it slightly in the legal terms would help the situation to some way. So I'm asking the committee, not as a question, Chair, but just making a comment, to stop defending it, stop hiding behind this complaint and do the right thing. Scrap this yellow box junction and fix the layout properly. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your contributions. So we're going to move on now to members' comments. If you have any comments on this topic. Thank you. Councillor Giles.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you to everyone who spoke so passionately on this item. I think the context first, 15% of moving traffic PCNs in the entire borough are issued at this junction. From 2021 through to the end of 2025, that represents 40,627 PCNs. You can't tell me 40,000 drivers are reckless, irresponsible, doing the wrong thing. It's confusing, and it's clear through the tribunal that there is an issue at this junction. Now, I could propose this evening an amendment to remove the entire box, noting the officer's comment that to simply stop enforcement would be inappropriate and likely ruled out of order. But what I will do as a small stopgap, knowing that the Liberal Democrats would vote against removing the entire box, is as a stopgap measure, I'd like to propose an amendment as follows. That recommendation 3 reads, to amend the current layout to ensure the box is painted as per the plans submitted to the tribunal and implement technical changes then as written, and also to remove recommendation number 2, because we have to accept the fact that the box as painted is larger than what the council submits to the tribunal. This is made obvious by the fact that over 40 of the 65 tribunal hearings have ruled in favour of the appellant and not the council. And this is but a small stopgap to eliminate the vast majority of motorists that get caught here. I would just say as a final aside, I find it highly amusing the choice of image used, which is of course the one taken by the Daily Mail for the article yesterday, which slammed the council for their continued enforcement of this yellow box junction.
Councillor Durrant.
Sorry.
Thank you, Chair.
Need a seconder for my amendment.
Yes, I second the amendment.
Okay, so would anybody like to comment on Councillor Jar's amendment to clause 3, as I understand it?
It's clause 3 and to remove clause 2.
Are we allowed to comment?
I don't think you can do that.
I can amend to remove a recommendation if I so wish.
The second one is to note.
Yeah, but the problem is, Chair, sorry, on a technicality.
Well, can we have the comments from the rest of the
you can, but on a
committee
procedural
first?
Yeah, but on a procedural point, because you're saying that part of my amendment isn't valid. If we propose and pass to amend recommendation 3, recommendation 2 cannot stand because we are accepting that there is a legal issue with the box as it's currently painted. Therefore, it would not be correct to note that as it is painted, it is legally compliant. If we are then saying we need to look to get the box repainted in line with the plan that gets submitted to the tribunal. Do you see my logic?
Thank you, Councillor Giles. Would anybody like to comment on Councillor Giles' proposals? Councillor Thorpe.
Chair, I think I'm going to have to disagree with Councillor Giles. It would certainly be possible to amend clause 3 without saying that the current system is illegal. It's simply to amend it. And if we were to, we could continue to note clause 2.
Can anybody else comment?
Can we comment? Why not?
Public comment on Mr. Giles's amendment.
Excuse me, why not?
Excuse you, you've had your comments on
No,
the
we
jump.
can comment on the progress of the discussion.
No,
surely.
you can't.
Why not?
Because it's a procedure, because it's a
Quote me the Act of Parliament which says I cannot comment when in retaliation or to rebut or to into.
It is the
extemporise
procedural rules of the council, not an act of parliament.
On what?
Thank you.
Well, no. The box junction. First of all, I win cases because there are 4 Kingston roads in Kingston. The last case, the one, Dr. Suman Biswas, right, in November, is because the location
Please
wrong.
refrain, otherwise I'm going to have to clear the gallery. No, I mean it.
The box
I don't want to have to do that, but please.
That's so heavy-handed.
So heavy-handed.
Clear the gallery!
So, a motorist from Swansea wouldn't know which Kingston Road for a start. Can I suggest that you cut off the top one? You see the Elmwood road there.
Sir, please can
you
stop shouting?
It absolutely in line with the edge of the junction, because it serves no purpose whatsoever.
We can adjourn
the
the
bit
meeting, Chair.
behind that black car there. This one similarly, this one, the Westbury one, should be cut down that way, and in fact on the plan it's elongated. So the plan is actually, I would argue, misleads the adjudicator.
Thank you. Okay, under procedural rule 14, we can adjourn the meeting. If you're all going to shout out and make comments, then that's what I will do.
If you interrupt proceedings.
You're not to interrupt. This is a meeting, okay? Can we be civil and not shout out?
Well, you know, Mr. Hill's allowed to go.
Do I have...
Good 5
Are you
minutes
going
speak.
to...
You people have more time
Right,
to
we're
speak
going to
than me.
adjourn the meeting then. Okay, thank you. Yeah, we're going to adjourn for 5 minutes, and when we come back, I don't want any interruptions and shouting out. Okay?
What a farce.
Thank you.
Unnecessary.
we shall resume. Anybody else got any comments that they want to make on what Councillor Giles has proposed? Other people's term now. Thanks, Councillor Giles. Officer Hamadi would like to speak.
Thank you, Chair. Okay, thank you. I think it's very important to understand here, there is a lot of talking about the illegality of that yellow box. And the appeal, what had been done so far, there was 71 appeal last year. And there is only 34 which had been upheld out of the 71. And it's not all of them about the legality of that. However, having said that, we have already sought legal advice regarding the legality of the layout, and we are being given the okay. It is illegal and it is compliant. However, the point which had been raised by Councillor Childs, okay, we are happy to review whole of the junction. We are not talking about the yellow line. We're talking about everything. The whole of the junction of Elm Road, Kingston Road, Westbury Road, we need to first set the objectives of the scheme, then we can review it, then we can review the layout, the geometric layout, then if you want, members, we can bring an item to a future committee showing if we want to review it, what it looks like, then you can vote and you decide on the way forward. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, that's very clear. Councillor Giles, what do you think to that proposal?
I would be delighted to have the entire junction reviewed. I think where the cycle lane's been added, I think the Kingston Road, particularly there, is a complete mess. I do think the whole thing needs looking at. It was actually more than I was expecting the officer would agree to. So I'd be delighted to have that brought back here. But I would ask that it's not kicked into the long grass and that it is moved at pace.
Councillor Sillett, you have a comment or question?
Well, it's a question, really, and I don't know if this would help things. I accept that technically the box, we're talking about the Westbury Road one, that's the long one, is legally compliant. And I have questioned as to whether, the length at the top of the picture there where it goes past the junction is necessary. And apparently it's necessary because there's children crossing or cyclists. I can't quite visualise why it's there. So my question would be, could we have an amendment? I mean, this seems to be causing a lot of the problems. If we did just chop off, reduce it by the bit that's hanging over, it seems unusually long, even if it is legal, let's not argue about that. But would that be safe, and would it possibly just solve the feeling that it's unfair? That's my feeling. It's a non-technical, but I wonder whether that could be just that specific thing could be worked in the amendment, and that might address the issue. Because I think you need a box there because people can't get. The traffic's awful on that road, and you can't get out otherwise. So I can see the point of the box, but I can't quite see why that is safety for school children and cyclists. That little bit hanging over.
Thanks, Eunice. Do you want to come back on that? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. As I said earlier, Chair, I think we are not addressing one part of the others. We need to address whole of the junction, and we need to understand why and for what reason we need to introduce yellow box and the benefit to whom, to cyclists, to pedestrians, to remove congestion, to allow emergency services, is for doing all of that. And then in order for us to reduce any yellow line or whatever, unless we're going to change, I'm going to repeat it again, Chair and members, unless we change the geometric layout of that junction itself, we cannot just cut yellow line because we believe what we have on the ground, it is legal accordingly.
Thank you. Councillor Coogan, Councillor Tracy and Councillor Durrant in that order. Thank you. And quickly, please, because we have to move on to the next meeting.
Thank you, Chair. It was good to hear Councillor Sillett's very practical suggestion and Mr Hamid's response. May I suggest as we're going to sort of kick it into the long grass, there's going to be purdah because of the local election, etc. Meanwhile, any motorist caught in that bit of the junction should not be issued any fines until this is resolved properly. Thank you.
Eunice, yeah.
Councillor, enforcement is enforcement. We enforce all the yellow box.
Well, the camera should be switched off then until that's sorted.
Right, next person, Councillor Tracy.
Thank you, Chair. It's interesting to hear about doing it for traffic flow, because I think half the trouble with the Kingston Road is the cycle lane, but still, that's another problem. Anyway, I'm concerned that people are getting tickets illegally. I've spoken to the shops along there, and for example, the butcher's there says that his delivery man who turns right, which you're allowed to do, has had so many tickets. All right, he appeals them and he gets the appeal upheld. But interesting, the last ticket he did. Again, it was upheld, but he got a letter telling him that he's appealed so many times that next time it happens, they won't uphold the appeal because he's appealed too many times. So I'm very concerned that people are getting tickets they shouldn't be getting. And if we're going to look at that junction, can we also look at those tiny little bollards that they don't show very well, but they're only about a foot high. And as you come out of Elm Road, especially the one on the left-hand side, it's black. And when the light fades, you can barely see it. And I know from the shops along there, about once a month, somebody gets stuck on the bollards. And a few months ago, somebody actually turned upside down in the car and the people from the shops had to get them out. So if we could look at painting them, maybe a colour that can be seen, a fluorescent colour, so that cars don't get trapped on them, that would be lovely. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tracy. Councillor Durrant, and then we're going to...
Thank you, Chair. I just want to say that I have lived here, literally around the corner from here, for about 20 years. And I can tell you that before these box junctions were here, there was a massive queue all the way up Elm Road. People couldn't get their kids to school at Christchurch. And that was a real problem. And it also continued through onto Westbury. And your invite here tonight, Councillor Giles, there was also a lot of people who are still in favour of a box junction there. So what I would like to sort of say is I think Mr. Hamad's idea is a really good one, that we have a look at this and we review this, and then you bring that back to us with a full report as well. I don't think you can get rid of those box junctions because you just have to believe me that before it was there was a massive queue all the way up Elm Road, and they were getting in the way of kids, and it was dangerous. So please, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Durrant. Right. Councillor Bolton, very quickly, and then we're going to move on to your amendment. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Chair. This will be very
You're
quick.
going to come.
This will be very quick. It's just to, I would support looking at it again in the bigger picture, but I don't really understand what, and I accept what Yunus Hamadi says, but I don't really understand what is so difficult about, in the very short term, just lopping the top off those yellow boxes at Elm Road there. Just behind where that black car is just now, you could draw a line across the back of that black car and just cut it there. And I think that would be pretty simple in the very short term. Not elegant, perhaps not to everyone's liking, but it would certainly placate a few of the people in the audience here and wouldn't actually do any harm as far as I can tell.
Eunice, do you want to come back, or Matt, on that? Thank you.
I'll come back on that one. Thank you, Councillor. I appreciate that looks like an easy fix. I would be hesitant having to put my name to something to just lop off a bit of yellow line that is there for road safety without doing a proper piece of analysis is a short answer.
I should say I used lop in the loosest possible term.
Indeed, but nonetheless...
surgically remove, perhaps, yeah.
I accept your suggestion, but I think looking at something like that in isolation is risky, and that's not the kind of risk I would want to take on as head of the Highways Department.
Can I add? Sorry, can I add something, Chair? It's very... Thank you, Chair. I think it's very important to understand, as it is legal as it is, we as an officer, we cannot recommend cutting any part of the yellow box, then it becomes illegal for us.
Thank you. So, Councillor Giles, what I was going to suggest that you amend your motion, and therefore then we will have item 4 of the recommendations, which will be a full review, and then come back in the future with all the relevant information to committee again, if you would be amenable to that. Thank you.
I would be amenable to add a recommendation that reads a review take place and it come back to committee. I'd like to ask that it comes back to committee within 6 months. I don't want this kicked into the long grass. I don't want this to be something that comes back in a year or later. I know highways are busy, but
that's fine.
But the other thing I would also like to add, Chair, is and to also examine the removal of the part of the box that we've alluded to this evening as well, please.
The part that Councillor Bolton wanted to lop off.
I would surgically remove.
Thank you. Thank you. Eunice?
Is that possible?
They're having a little cheer.
I'm happy to review the whole junction, but cutting the yellow box, it is something I'm not comfortable with, so I don't think I will be supporting it. So I'm happy to consider and bring report back to this committee within 6 months, which it shows the whole of the junction, a change within the geometric, I'm going to repeat it again, the geometric layout of the junction itself, the curb line and everything, it needs to be reviewed in order to make sure the yellow box, because it is something we need to introduce. We can consider it, and I'll bring it back to this committee within 6 months, and I'm seeking your approval all in the way forward to keep it as it is or adopt the new one. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Eunice. Right, yeah, I was going to do the votes individually, but do you want to do the 3 together and then...
So if you're happy, Chair, forgive me, I'd be quite happy, given I sense there's consensus on one element but not the other. If you're amenable, I'd be quite happy to take a vote on the review and then, if necessary, quickly propose and second the recommendation that the part be removed as a separate recommendation, if that's required.
If he wants to. Yeah, so you can vote on all of that as one, including the review as one, and then he will then propose something else afterwards.
Right, okay, so we're going to vote on items 1, 2 and 3 of the recommendations, including the review.
Well, actually, that's number 4.
I think you need to remove point 3, Chair, because you are...
Yeah, it's removing point 3, sorry.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yes.
Right, so 1, 2, just 1 and 2, and the review.
The new one, what Councillor Charles putting forward to
So we're voting those separately?
After 6 months.
So if you do 1, 2 and now 3 together, and then the extra element to do with the locking off the box junction bit, that bit's going to be a separate one.
And remember, you bring that back in 6 months, yeah?
Yeah, so add 6 months to it.
Yeah.
So we're going to vote on number 1, number 2 in the recommendations, and number 3 is going to be a full review and to look at the junction and come back with a further meeting within 6 months. Is everybody happy to vote on that item?
I'd like then a separate vote.
I'm going to do that in a minute.
Okay, thank you.
Give me a chance. Okay, right. Those in favour of what I've just outlined now, please raise your hands. Plus item 1 and 2 on the recommendations.
Coming back in 6 months.
That's unanimous, Chair.
Yep, brilliant.
That's unanimous.
Okay.
Thank you. And then, Councillor Giles, to...
Thank you.
What
I'd
you
like
wanted to say?
An additional recommendation to propose in the interim the removal of what I'll describe as the overhang of yellow box, which we've discussed at some length this evening.
I'd second that proposal.
So we take a
Can
vote?
we just double check that they can do that?
Can you do that, Eunice? Is that possible?
I think if you're asking us as a part of the amendment to reduce the size of the yellow line, the yellow box, as it is, we cannot support that. The only we can support is we can put in the brief, which we're going to put to the consultant to review the junction, to consider that and to see if it is this element as a high priority to consider it, then we can bring us a report, show us what is the outcome going to look like after that. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, because it has monetary and budgetary implications, Councillor, and safety as well, obviously. Sorry, pardon the pun.
But this isn't meant to be about revenue raising, so it doesn't have implication on our budget in that regard. So, no,
yes,
no,
it does.
No, it doesn't. No,
it does.
No,
it does, and the officer pointed that out at the beginning.
I'm sorry, Eunice didn't mention impact on the budget. Eunice said that he couldn't recommend it. So I'd like a clarification. Is it that the officer doesn't recommend us doing this, or is there a legal basis for it not being able to be voted on? Because regardless, unless there is a legal reason why it can't be voted on, I would like it voted on, because with the utmost respect to highways, we're the decision makers here.
I think if, okay, sorry.
Yeah. Are we legally able to do that or not?
I think catching the yellow box, you can, but you have to think about the financial implication you're going to have as a result of that.
So I've got a we can vote on it, so I'd like it voted on, please.
Chair.
Yes, you can vote on it if you want to vote on it.
May I ask a point of clarification? What are these financial implications? I mean, I think the inference that people are taking from it is that we'll lose revenue from the PCNs, but is that what he's referring to?
Thank you, Chair. I think it's very important for members to understand if you're going to approve the cut or reduce the size of this yellow box, and it's going to have financial implication, that matter will need to be escalated to go to strategic committee, because there is an impact on the budget. So therefore, strategic committee can make that decision if they want to carry it out or not.
So we can't.
It's going to have to go to place committee, I believe.
We have to recommend the place committee.
Yeah, that would have to be recommended to place. Thank you.
Thanks. I don't care where it goes. If it needs to go to place, so be it. I'd like it voted on, please.
Yeah. As opposition finance spokesperson, I would like to say we are here to look at the operational review, the enforcement data and the safety assessment. This is not to punish compliant drivers, vehicle users here. So I think it's so wrong-headed. I think, we're completely, this is a laughable scenario.
So we'll take a vote on that.
Take it, right? Yeah. Okay, right, which is right?
Are they still talking? They still need to give advice.
Chair.
We're not.
Thank you, Chair. I think, sorry, councillors. Okay, I think something like that, I think I prefer to leave it till I have the legal advice in this matter.
So in which case, given it's only a recommendation to place committee, which will give adequate time for legal advice to be sought, I would still like this to go forward as a recommendation to place. If the legal advice when it comes to place says it's not legally permissible, so be it, but I would like us to send it as a clear message on its journey to place pending legal advice.
Yes, the item is to remove the box function, isn't it?
To move part of the box function. Yeah. So is everybody clear on what we're going to vote? So if I've got this right, is to remove part of that box junction, subject to legal advice.
Recommendation. recommendation to place that part of the
Yeah,
subject.
right. Is everybody happy with that? Right.
Doesn't matter. He'll have to say
Those in favour, please raise your hands.
that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9
Those against?
in favour. 2 against.
2 against?
Yep.
And 1 abstention.
1 abstention.
Thank you.
To recommend to place that you lock off the yellow box.
Subject to illegal.
Subject to legal advice.
Are we done? Are we done on this one? Are we done on this one?
Yep, we're done.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Right. Okay. So we'll have a very quick adjournment if anybody wants a comfort break or anything. People who came for the yellow box junction want to leave or want to stay. It's entirely up to you. But we will move on apace for the next part of the meeting because we have to be out here, out of this building by 10:30. Okay. We have got time restraints as it's a school. All right. Thank you very much.
Fountain next.
We've got a lot to get through. Thank you. Is our young man there?
Yep, he's here.
Do I have to go through all of this again? I do, don't I? Do I have to go through all of that again?
No, I think we just go on to...
Forget that.
Yep.
We go straight into public questions.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, so for a bit of expediency, we're just going to go straight to public questions because I think everybody who was here before still here, and the emergency procedures are still the same. We have a period of no more than 30 minutes for questions on matters relevant to the committee. We encourage questions to be submitted in advance on the green slips, which people have kindly done. We'll invite each person to come to the desk, and you are allowed 2 minutes for your question. When you have 30 seconds left, Sam will advise you of that. Okay, so keep your points clear and precise, please. So the first person I've got is Tony Bryant. Have I got that correct? If you'd like to come down, Mr. Bryant.
Oh, actually, I think the first one we got is Russell.
Oh, I'm sorry, apologise. Is Russell Pedley here? Hang on. Sorry. Mr. Pedley, sorry, I didn't realise you were already on here. If you'd like to come, and then I'll take you. Okay, thank you. Or just sit and wait. Thank you very much.
Is this on? Oh, yes, it is.
It's on all the time, that one. Thank you.
Excellent. So, Chair, members, thank you for the opportunity to speak during this question time, which relates to the decision that you made at your last meeting on the proposed zebra crossing on Coombe Lane West. My question is in 4 parts, which I will highlight. But this is not about a zebra crossing that you have approved. It's about preventing a serious safety hazard before it's too late. I live in Coombe Lane West. I'm an architect and urban designer with decades of experience designing streets and communities. But today I'm here speaking as a resident of Coombe Vale Ward, whose vehicular access, along with 6 neighbours, will be severely compromised by the proposal that you resolved to approve on the 11th of December 2025. First part of my question is, why were we not notified by you on the consultation for this proposal, and why were we not notified of the meeting on the 11th of December when you decided on this matter? We were, of course, notified by the council on the consultation letter, but the consultation letter specifically says that a recommendation for the next step, this report will go to the Kingston and North Kingston Neighbourhood Committee. It does not say it's going to this committee. And in fact, the ward councillors of Coombe Hill also wrote to us kindly to notify us. And we have letters from them, but we had nothing from our ward councillors in the Coombe Vale ward, of which we all live in. So I fully support active travel, but placing a zebra crossing here is one of the most dangerous decisions you have made. The proposed location sits right next to 6 busy driveways where cars constantly manoeuvre in and out. The vehicle movement creates blind spots that put pedestrians, especially children, directly in harm's way. During school hours, the risk of a tragic accident is inevitable. This is not just poor planning. This is public safety issue. So the second part of my question is, can this decision be called in for reconsideration? And I would appreciate some advice on guidance on how to do that. But when you do that reconsideration, these are the 4 points that you need to consider. The highway code compliance. Our driveways are only 6 metres deep with no manoeuvring room and require vehicles to stop, reverse on the road to enter and exit safely in forward drive from our driveways. Zigzag markings make this manoeuvre illegal, effectively removing our legal unfettered vehicular access. Reversing out would also breach the code. This is a major oversight by your highway
Excuse me, your
officer.
time's up. 2 minutes, thank you.
And I have a copy of the regulations here, which specifically states...
2 minutes. Your time is up now. Thank you very much.
Okay. I would like the final part of my question to be, how will we be compensated for the removal.
I did say 2 minutes, and your
I know you
time
did,
is
but
up.
of course nobody told me until just now that it was 2 minutes.
I told you you had 2 minutes.
No, it says 30 minutes.
30 minutes is for everybody to speak, not just you.
So
Excuse me, Chair.
I understand that,
Chair,
but
excuse me, Chair. As one of the ward councillors where Mr. Pedley lives, I'd be very happy if the courtesy could be extended to him just to finish off. He's almost finished anyway. I've got a copy of what he's saying. Thank you.
Seconded.
Chair, he didn't get a 30-second warning.
So I've made the point about the highway code compliance. The next thing is not so important, so I'm going to skip that, but those who've got this written down know what that is. The existing crossing. There is already a safer signal-controlled crossing opposite the school. My question is, part of that question is, who asked for this zebra crossing in this location, and were any movement studies, pedestrian movement studies, done to back up the need for it? My final point is about that there are plenty of other better locations on Coombe Lane West, and those are written down in my statement here, and I can confirm that. But I strongly recommend that members visit the site before further reconsideration to satisfy themselves and whether it's other locations, as personally I would never propose a crossing in this location professionally, because if an accident was to occur, it would weigh heavily on my conscience. So my final part of the question is, how will we be compensated by the removal of our unfettered vehicular access to our properties? This decision is not just about convenience, it's about life and death. If this crossing goes ahead, as you have decided, it will in effect extinguish our vehicular access. It will have inherent blind spots, which will put pedestrians and children at risk every day. And as one member stated at the committee meeting last week, turn us into criminals using our own driveways. Remember, this will be a traffic...
With due respect, sir, I've given you plenty of extra time.
Yeah, I've finished, but I have one sentence. So this proposal will mean that if we are to enter and exit our driveway, it will be subject to a traffic offence, and we will get 3 points on our licence. Thank you.
Thank you very much. If you'd like to take a seat.
Thank you,
Officer
Chair.
Hamadi, if you'd like to respond to some of those
Yes,
points.
I will, definitely.
Thank you.
I mean, at the last week, I was tired. I haven't had the opportunity to answer these questions. But today I do have the answer to these questions. First of all, we've done a safety audit for this junction, and we've done safety audit for the design, and there is no issue has been raised. The safety audit has been done by independent consultant. So therefore, as it is no issue has been raised, we are satisfied for what we have, it is safe. Second, about the police, it make me thinking, because at the last week, for the life of me, I forgot completely I consult the police. And the police raised no highway objection. So I've written to the police again. I said, I want to ask you a question again. That's the traffic police, councillors. I want you to be aware. I've written to the traffic police, and I said, I have such an issue here, and I've never come across before. Could you advise me on the legality of matter? They said there is no issue whatsoever. So I have in writing, councillors, from the traffic police telling me there is no issue whatsoever. And I will be taking the same report to the 3rd of March to Kingston and North Kingston, seeking approval of this scheme again, based on all these what I just outlined earlier. The reason why we put it there, I already explained it to the gentleman before at the previous committee, and I advertised, I said it to you all. I think at this point, as it is, we have a lot on my agenda. I'm happy to leave it there, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eunice. Thank you. Right, moving on to the next bit. Sorry, Tony Bryant. Yep, thank you very much. If you'd like to come down. How many minutes are we on? 20. Right. No, we forgot.
Thank you for
10
this
minutes.
opportunity to speak to you. I'm a resident of Thetford Road, have been for over 30 years, and I've had a look at the various so-called highway improvements of the Fountain Roundabout. my view generally is that the alterations, whichever form they take, will add to delay, congestion, pollution, and will not, in fact, be an improvement at all. Now, part of those proposals include traffic management add-ons, and now they are of particular significance to Thetford Road because the proposal is to remove the no left turn into Thetford Road, block off access through Westbury Road to prevent a rat run, but so doing you will then create a new rat run all the way down Thetford Road to the South Lane Junction. What justification can there be to create a rat run in what is an entirely residential road, a road which I might add is fairly straight and downhill in a section where some cars go down at terrific speed, and therefore increasing the traffic there will no doubt cause potential accidents. So my comment is one that
Sorry,
will
did
not,
you have a question?
well,
Please,
the question is why create?
justification?
Yes, my question is why create a new rat run, which this proposal would invariably do?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair. I think it's very important for members to bear in mind when I'll introduce the fountain roundabout. As a part of the recommendation, I'll be asking you for approval for VISM. VISM, what is VISM? VISM, it is a software, it's modeling. What we'll do is, it will tell me if I do work at this road in particular, what's gonna happen to the network around it? Is there gonna be any displacement on the other road? Because we need to understand whatever we do at certain location, what implication it's gonna have on the surrounding road. Because there is no point, I fully agree with the gentleman, there is no point to put solution for here than impact on somebody else. We need to look at it for all of it. That's why in the recommendation, Chair, you will see I'm asking for 2 schemes to be approved for VISM, for modeling. Then after that, we can see the implication where you're gonna see the outcome of this. Then we're gonna decide on a way forward. If we feel there is an implication, that means the scheme is not working and it's not gonna give us what we want. I hope that answered the question, Chair.
Thank you, Eunice. Right, next person is Julian McCarthy. Thank you very much. Where are we at? 8 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. My understanding of councillors is that they're voted by the public to look after people's interests. But I would like to ask the question, because I've experienced at previous meetings where councillors appear to abstain or not vote against a council-led motion for fear of repercussions. So can I ask that when we come to the fountain roundabout later on, are the councillors going to vote representing the people who they represent, i.e. the residents of New Malden, or are they going to be beholden to and kowtow to a yellow rosette wearing God above them?
Excuse me, this is
That's
on the
my
fountain.
question. Are they going to vote for
Yeah.
the people of New Malden, or are they going to abstain because of fear of repercussions?
Yeah, okay.
Are there such repercussions if they vote against
I
the
hear what you're
council?
saying, but this is you're asking a question about an item that's already on the agenda.
No, it's a general committee question.
Yeah, but it's coming up next.
But I want to understand before it comes up
Okay.
whether
Well, perhaps
or not.
you'll have to wait and see.
So there is the potential that... okay, well, see you on May the 7th. I thought it was a pertinent, valid question. I want to know...
It is, but members can vote.
But
It's a free vote.
What I'm trying to understand is there an agenda here that we don't know, so that when we put questions and points, there is already a power above us not sitting at this meeting that will influence your decisions irrespective of what the public is saying?
Not that I'm aware.
That's all I needed to know. Thank you.
Thank you.
What about the Lib Dem standing orders?
you here? Terry, come down. So can you give him 30 minutes warning? Thank you. Yeah, but we don't need to use all those.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
I could have a long spiel, but I'm not going to go on for ages. I just want to ask them 3 basic questions. When can we expect the work to start on the serious safety issues at Edmonton Malden Road? Had a 10-year-old child nearly knocked over last week, so we've had buggies crushed, we've had fights in the street. When can we expect that work to start improving that junction?
That's your first question. Can I get the officer to reply to that first, if you've got a series of questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Eunice.
Thank you, Chair. I'm very pleased to say I have been informed today that 2nd of February, that's where the date the contractor week commenced, in the 2nd of February, they will be on site to deliver the scheme.
Thank you, Eunice. Obviously, it's a progression thing because there may be more things to be done, but you've said that you'll continue to look at it afterwards. So that's really good. Can I ask the officers to come back to me, because you won't have these this time? Can you give me a direct comparison of how much public money has been spent in Old Malden in comparison to Motspur Park and Old Malden East? Seems there's an awful lot of success from a very hard-working councillor, and it seems nothing seems to happen in Motspur Park and Old Malden East. So is there a figure of what's been spent between the 2 wards?
Are you talking from a high-risk point of view?
Yes.
Thank you.
Chair, we don't have the budget for its ward. We have the budget for the neighbourhood. So we have a traffic management revenue budget for the whole of the Malden and Old Malden. So if I need to do that, I mean, I need to go and find out which scheme I introduce for each ward and each area. Then we need to calculate it. Then I need to bring it back to you, because there is no budget allocated for that.
Can I briefly come back? Obviously, that money is spent. Obviously, I'd like to FOI that, which is a lot more work. If it's possible to get a rough comparison of how much is spent in each ward, rather than me going through the FOI route.
Yeah, you can put FOI, but we have to see how long it's going to take. Then we can reply and let you know if it is within the FOI allow us to do so or not.
Okay. And my third question is basically a comparison, again, between the 2 wards, Old Malden and Motspur Park and Old Malden East. I'd like that question to both our current councillors, Richard Thorpe and Lynn Henderson, as to why does so much seem to be get done in Old Malden and so little in Motspur Park and Old Malden East. I mean, I've got lots of lists of things recently, like new bollards, benches, cycle security, a new bin, flower planters, even a new notice board. We're just in a mess. We're just neglected on our ward.
I can't give you a comparison with another ward. I can tell you that the work that needs to be done in our ward is done, but I can't tell you about another ward. That's just impossible.
Thank you. Appears not to be done though, but thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Terry.
Can I just come in on that point about finances? I've been asking for nearly 3 years for amount of council tax collected by each street and each ward, and it's been denied to me for 3 years, and it's, hopefully we'll get it next time.
That's public questions, not members. You will have your turn to. That's not. Thank you. If anybody wants to leave, can you leave now before we start the next item? Otherwise, it's just creating.
Raise a question.
Fair enough. I didn't get.
We didn't have your green slip or whatever.
I emailed this in advance to you.
Oh, your name is?
Colin Young.
I did not see an email about.
Not to me, but
Chair, of course, I...
Okay, would you like to quickly come down and ask your questions? We've got a couple of minutes left.
Thank you.
Your name is? You're on the fountain, aren't you? Your comment will come when we get to that item, yeah? Thank you. If you'd like to go ahead, Mr Young.
Thank you. My name's Colin Young. I'm following up from the comments by Russell Pedley on the Coombe Lane West zebra crossing. I'm going to cut to some points that were made here. Eunice has just put forward something. I want to know whether that is being put forward to this committee as formal legal advice, because I am quite clear that if it is, I want to know what was sought by way of that legal advice, because that is incorrect. I will be bringing to the next committee in March a case where someone has been convicted for someone stopping on the white zigzags and reversing into their drive. 3 points and a fine. I want to know if this committee can reverse its previous decision, because it is going to criminalise a number of us on Coombe Lane West. And if Eunice or someone just wants to type into their phone, is it illegal to stop on white zigzag lines, it'll take you to the case. It is not parking, it is stopping as well. So can this committee reverse its previous decision? And is it comfortable with criminalising people reversing into their drives?
I believe you can't reverse a decision within 6 months. Yeah, the call-in period is passed, so you can't call it in.
Would you like to explain that?
But we have the notification point that comes up.
Yeah, so we have a call-in process. It's outlined in our constitution, and it's a 10 working day period where members of the public can put forward a petition to call that an item be reconsidered at a scrutiny panel.
But we weren't even notified of either the meeting or the decision until well past the 10 working days period.
Chair, can I say something? Thank you. I think as this committee approved. Now, as I said earlier, on the 3rd of March, Kingston Neighbourhood Committee, they will be considering this item. If they decide not to approve it, the scheme will go to the Place Committee in order to make a decision.
Will the point on the proper legal advice with properly framed questions have been dealt with by that meeting?
We will be...
Because I'm sorry, just writing to a police
I understand your point, and I said earlier, I contacted the traffic police and I asked that particular question, and they said to me, reversing, it's okay and could be, and it's not illegal. However, as to make it more clear to my members, on the 3rd of March, I will seek the legal advice and I'll bring to the report and attach it to the report. So I guess your opportunity will be at the 3rd of March. If the committee at the 3rd of March decide to refuse this scheme, not to approve it, then the whole scheme will be taken to the strategic committee, which is the Place Committee. Then we can vote on the scheme and decide if they're going to go ahead or not. Thank you, Chair.
I'm sorry, you can't do that from the public.
Can I ask, the other question was whether this committee is comfortable with its decision criminal. If this is illegal, if this committee is comfortable with criminalising those of us that are affected on that section.
I'm not sure we can earn a position to comment on that. I'm sure we wouldn't want somebody to be criminalised.
Well, I mean, I think
Well, I
you
personally
can,
wouldn't.
no, but therefore you can comment on it.
Yeah, but
for
I
the
have no
purposes
legal
of-
jurisdiction or no legal...
I said if.
Please don't try and make me say things... Yeah.
Till I bring the legal advice, I suggest members not to give any comment at that stage.
So this committee.
Okay.
Thank you very much indeed.
Councillor Sillett from Coombe Vale, we've been in touch.
Yes, thank you.
Perhaps we can continue this, and I will be happy to represent you to that other committee, and we can talk about this.
That is appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, the public questions are finished now because we've gone over the 30 minutes. What's your name? Is it a general question or one on the fountain? It's what, sorry?
It's about the fountain roundabout, though. Yeah. It's not a comment.
It's a question. You'll get your chance to speak when the item comes up, which is next.
It's not acceptable because there's already an item.
Because it's already an item on the agenda, then it has to come to that point.
It's not an item to discuss the specifics of my question, that being the relation to disability and how disability groups are may be represented, may not be represented.
You'll be able to raise it in a minute. Yeah, all that can be raised later.
You can raise all of that in a minute.
But it's a public question, and the agenda item is just generally the fountain, rather than the specific which I'm asking.
No, you can.
It's still relevant.
It's still relevant. I'm sorry, but I need to move on. Okay.
I'm sorry, but I did ask the question. I was told it could be done in public.
Who did you ask?
I emailed.
It was me. Yeah, you did say that you could speak, and I said that she could speak and make a comment. That's what I said to her. Yeah.
Very much a public member's question.
Yeah, but you're going to get your. Okay, come down then. But I don't see the difference between speaking now and we're just getting on with the item.
Well, the difference is what I will ask in my question.
Oh, for heaven's sakes. You have 2 minutes, and we will advise you after 30 seconds when your time is nearly up.
So, the plans for the Fountain Roundabout provide clear points of concern for disabled and elderly residents who already suffer from its poor layout, including one plan which proposes running a cycle lane in front of a bus stop, despite continually expressed concerns from disability groups about the dangers of this style of bus stop. My question is, will this committee commit to having consultations with a wide range of disability groups, as well as age-based, including elderly people's groups, and promise to uphold their advice, even if it means these plans have to be reworked to ensure that disabled and elderly people are not excluded from the redesigned Fountain Roundabout due to inaccessible design?
Thank you. And I think Eunice can answer that question for you. Thank you.
I think this is definitely relevant to the Fountain Roundabout, and as a part of the engagement, we will be engaging with all the stakeholders. And I think the disability group or all other groups, they will be part of this engagement. And I will be talking to members and ward members about the group and who they want us to include. So I invite them as well to give us a more group they want us to include. And all the comment from all the stakeholders will be analyzed or will be brought back to this committee, to the committee when they want to make a decision. They can read all the comments received from all the stakeholders, then they can decide how they want to move forward with the decision. Thank you, Chair.
That didn't quite answer my question, though, because I asked, will this committee commit to having the consultations and promise to uphold their advice, even if it means that plans have to be reworked? So I'm not just asking, will Highways say they will have these meetings? I am asking for this committee, for all of these councillors here, to commit to ensuring that disabled people and the elderly are not excluded, and to commit to ensure that Highways do their proper work. So I would like to ask if the councillors could agree to that and commit to that, please.
Councillors, would you like to respond to that?
Yes.
Good evening. Thank you for your questions. Really appreciate this. Thank you, Chair. Yes, I will definitely want to ensure that any design or secure by design, any scheme, any proposal, improvement, changes, either I like it or not, always take into considerations people with reduced mobility, with different challenges that we might not fully appreciate, being visually impaired, wheelchair, and generally speaking, we're not getting any younger. So yes, I will always commit to make sure that we think for all road user, pedestrian user, and anyone using the service and the urban furniture and design that we implement across the ward and the borough. You have my word. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd like to concur with Councillor Massimi as well if I'm elected next year. Thank you. Everybody else?
Ditto.
Everybody else like to say yes to that? Yeah. Thank you very much.
No, absolutely, and thank you to the lady for coming in. It's, she makes a very fair point, and we'll not only do our best, but we will actually do it.
Thank you. I'm sure this is probably only vaguely relevant, but I would just like to reiterate that it is important that we do commit to adhering by these, what is said by these disability groups, by these groups, because the Kingston Road and Cambridge Road consultations with disability groups were completely ignored, and that's why I came with this question, with seeking the confirmation that they will be listened to this time. So thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much all of you.
Thank you for your question. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Keegan Hiller.
Who?
Keegan Hiller.
Oh, right, okay.
So we're up to here, aren't we? Petitions. We finished public questions.
Yeah, we're on here and then there. Yeah. No apologies.
Okay. We do not have any petitions tonight, I don't think. That was item 2, and apologies for absence. I don't think we have any apologies tonight. Nobody's run off. Declarations of interest. Any members got any disclosable pecuniary interests or other registrable and non-registrable interests relevant to items on this agenda? Councillor Kim.
Yeah, I have 2 issues.
Yes.
One is for the one applicant of Nanum UK.
Yeah.
And I support them with the council grant.
Yeah,
so
and the other?
The other is I'm a member of the New Malden Rotary Club.
Okay. But I don't think that precludes you from voting, because other members are members as well. I don't think that. It's up to you. If you don't want to vote on that item, it's your decision. Okay, thank you. Anybody else? Councillor Giles?
Other non-registrable interest. I'm a member of the Malden Independent Community Organisation, which led the original campaign in 2016, leading to the policy decision to scrap proposed changes to the Fountain Roundabout.
Sorry, Chair, could I say I'm a former member of the organisation that Councillor Giles has mentioned. In fact, I used to be the secretary, but no longer have any ties to it. Thank you.
Is that everybody now, yeah?
Thank you, Chair. My colleague, Councillor Park, and I are both members of the Rotary Club as well, for full disclosure.
Do you want to leave the room when we do the community grants?
No, we don't.
You don't? Okay, thank you. Just so that's clear. Right. Minutes of the last meeting on the 11th of December. Do I take those are true and correct record? Anybody got any comments on that? Can I take that as unanimous? Thank you. And item 6, what you've all been waiting for. The suspense is terrible. Item 6, the Fountain Roundabout. Okay. To present analysis and options for improvement to Fountain Roundabout and seek approval for progressing 2 preferred options for detailed traffic modelling, design, development and subsequent consultation. To consider a petition and requisition received in relation to the Fountain Roundabout. I propose the recommendation set outlined on page B1 of the report. Do I have a seconder?
I second that, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Henderson. So we have Matt Hill, Director. Oh, okay. I'll just introduce you anyway, Matt. Just I'm not ignoring you, but Officer Hamadi is going to give the presentation. Just so everybody can see, did you suggest that we moved round there, because we've got our backs to the wall a bit over here? Thank you.
Sorry, there is no microphone here. Could you hear me?
Literally and metaphorically. Oh yeah, you haven't got a microphone.
Because he wants to record me.
You can do sort of like Chris Whitty. Next slide, please.
Maybe Eunice, you can sit there.
Oh, Eunice.
You can sit there. In there. You can use my.
All right, thank you. All right, I think it's very important first to talk about This is as a part of the requisition received by Councillor Charles and the other two members. There was two parts of it. The first part is about the yellow box, and the second part is about the fountain roundabout. So therefore, the special meeting was at 7 o'clock, and that's finished. And now we consider the fountain roundabout as a part of this meeting. I think the first is there is nothing showing.
That goes back.
Okay, I think the first of all, why we're doing the scheme in the fountain roundabout. As you are aware, there is a quite high number of collision on the fountain roundabout, and we want to improve the safety. I fully, guys, I understand people they for or against. Let me finish the presentation, then after that you will have the platform. You can ask any question you wish, then we can have lovely night together. So first is let's go about with that. So this is the collision data. As you can see here, it's scattered on the around the roundabout. We have one fatality, unfortunately, and we have four serious. Four serious. We have, for the last 5 years, we have 24 collisions. Out of this, we have one fatal and 4 serious. And that is represent 20% of the 24 collisions. But if you want to compare this to the rest of the borough is only 17%. To this particular junction, it has higher percentage in terms of collision comparing to the rest of the borough. Okay, well, as a part of our work, we've done something we call healthy street indicators. What that mean, healthy street indicators? That mean we will look into the road and we'll see, do we have a safe crossing? Do we have a place wide footway? Do we have benches? Do we have trees? Do we have somewhere it's safe for cyclists? And what are the buses? All of this. So we've done that for all this area around the roundabout. And as you can see, some of them, they do not score as much as we would like them to do. So therefore, we have considered what we need to do here. So we developed the consultant, not me. So they have developed 11 options in front of you, and that is what we will be going through very quickly for tonight. The first one is do nothing, leave it as it is. And the second one is to do minimum. Then, as you can see, all of these, I guess all of you received the big papers, which it has all the option, which has been going through all of it. So I'm not going to read them. You know all of them, what we have there. So, okay, do nothing. As you can see here, we feel do nothing is something from our perspective as an officer that will not address the issue we have about the existing road safety issue, and will not address the issue where a lot of pedestrians are concerned, are not able to cross at the fountain roundabout because for the lack of crossing where there is a design line. So therefore, we felt there is something that needs to be done. So do nothing as an officer will feel it's really something we do not recommend. Then do minimum, as you can see, previously there have been a request to provide only crossing. As you can see here, it's a zebra crossing at each arm of Kingston Road. And by doing that, the modeling, it shows there is a bit of impact on the network and on the buses, and do not give any priority or any improvement to the cyclist. But it is an option, and I'm just exploring all the options with you here. Then after that, what we've done, in order for us to understand all these options, we had a criteria. And in that criteria, we go through every option. Then we can say, okay, will that meet that criteria? Is that the things we need to see or not? So as you can see on that, we have about safety, cycle infrastructure, pedestrian impact, the health history, traffic impact, and the cost. So whatever we're going to do except do nothing, there is a cost implication on that. So as you can see, based on that, we went through all the options. We have 11, and we marked them accordingly. So therefore, we come up with so as a result of that, we identify the problem. Then we went through the process. Then we have the recommendation. Our recommendation is for two, is option 1D to signalize with cycle loop and to active travel. And the second one of to have but as a result, I need to make it clear, as a result of the first one, that means we're gonna load the fountain roundabout in order to allow the signal to take place. And the option 2, what we have is to introduce is Dutch style roundabout. So this is the first scheme, which is about removing the roundabout, provide signals, and provide cycling facility, as you can see on the plan in front of you. The second one is to have the Dutch roundabout, which to keep the roundabout itself and to provide crossing at the old arm. And there's going to be some work to the area around the area in order to make sure we can provide this design. Way forward, as I said earlier, we need to understand whatever we put, we need to understand what does that mean, how that is going to impact on the network, how it's going to impact on the other road in the area. So therefore, we need to do vision for these two schemes. That is very important in order us to understand the implication from the scheme, because you need to bear in mind, we need to think about buses as well, because we don't want to introduce something where there is an implication on public transport. So if I want to encourage active travel, so not in one hand think of one and forget the others. So we need to bear that in mind. So after that, we're gonna have a public consultation and engagement. And that is going to be a very big exercise. We would like to go forward. Yeah. So, okay, so far, I think it's very important to understand, so far we had £200,000 from this year and the year before. And the money, as you say here, it has been spent on doing the safety audit, doing the modeling, initial modeling, do all the work by the consultant. That's where we are now. So if this is going to go forward, we need to go for next year. Next year, it will be the time where we will be seeking money for the vision and for engagement and to prepare the scheme for implementation. So, and if everything goes all right, we can seek money from TfL. This scheme is got to be funded from TfL. So therefore, whatever we need to do, we need to think, will that impact on the A3? Will that impact on the buses? Will that impact on the network? So whatever we need to do, we need to take all these points into consideration. So therefore, our recommendation is now is, as you, sorry, I missed about the petition. So the petition and the requisition to be noted, the option outlined in here to be, as I said, 1D, and that, you can read it actually. And then at the end, the community engagement to take place and the outcome of the engagement to be brought up to this committee in order to decide on the way forward. Thank you, Chair, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Eunice, for that presentation.
Fantastic.
Public questions. Is it more? No, it's public questions.
Yes, yes. It's fine.
So next we have to have public questions. Okay, we've got some sheets here. Hopefully we'll be able to get through
We're going to get 30 minutes, haven't we?
quite a lot of them. I've got Julian McCarthy first. Keegan Hillier, you've had your, she's gone. Okay, so she's had her questions.
And we're going to say, how many speakers have we got?
Sorry?
Speakers.
Yeah, how many have we got? So try and keep it brief, keep your questions brief.
2 minutes each.
So about 2 minutes. We will try and advise you when you've got 30 seconds left.
Is it
Right.
question or statement? I think
No,
it was
it's a
statement.
comments. It says. But
Comments.
if you have a question
No, right.
and it's short, then you know.
No, here we go. I've got it written down. I will speak very, very
Right.
quickly. Tell me when
Well,
to go. Ready?
Right, go.
Right. You can use data to meet any end, and not all of those incidents that have been put forward are due to the Fountain Roundabout. I feel a little bit like a child in the story of the Emperor's New Clothes, where dignitaries don't wish to be seen to disagree with the Emperor's view, and it needs someone to speak up and for them to see sense. I'm quite surprised that we're here again. Oscar Wilde says that once is accidental, twice is considered a misfortune. And to lose the Fountain Roundabout will be a great misfortune to the residents of New Malden. It seems that someone somewhere wants this pushed through, irrespective of the number of times that the people of New Malden have said that they don't want it, and the great expense that's carried out and put on documents like that. The fountain itself is not a problem, as is clearly indicative on the pictures. The fountain is not always jammed up. 95–96% of the time, the fountain is free-flowing because people are giving freedom to use. The problem is not the fountain or the junction. The problem is the arrogance of the drivers, including bus drivers, who pull across the keep clear sections of the roundabout. If the keep clear sections of the roundabout were enforced, traffic flows and always has done. Rather than causing great upheaval and cost to New Malden in removing the roundabout, why can't the highways ensure that the keep clear areas are enforced? And if you want traffic lights, simply impose peak flow traffic lights like they have on slip roads to motorways and to the A3, such that in peak times the traffic is sequenced, but in other times motorists have freedom to go round the roundabout and it works. Why are we spending money time and time again, and the council keeps trying to push this through for why? Money that you could have spent on one of the road crossings where £100,000 was allocated and vaporised. Why can't we stop spending money on this, allow the people of New Malden to have what they want? Please, when you vote, councillors, you are representatives of these people of New Malden, not the Lib Dems or any other party. Do not abstain. You will get our respect in May if you vote for the people you represent.
Thank you. Your time is up, Julian.
Not for a party.
Do you want to comment? Thank you.
I think the only bit I want to comment about, Chair, is I think the bit which stands out for me is about why we back here. Because as it has been brought up before, and it was an overall majority against it, but there was against it with some, I think, 55 to 45, something quite close to each other, the result. But we are here again, Chair and members, because the problem didn't go away. We still have a problem. We still have an issue we need to address. So therefore, the point is, if the situation has been improved, we as an officer, we don't want to spend money unnecessarily. So we can allocate it somewhere else. And keeping or removing the roundabout, it's not something we as an officer will look into that issue. We don't. All what we look into is safety, pedestrian impact, the healthy street, the traffic impact, and we include all these points in order, as I said earlier, in order to make that decision. But as I said before, with or without the roundabout, we only look at what is the best to the area in terms of let the network work and less implication on the network, on the buses, on pedestrian, and on cyclists, and improve the whole area together. So we don't have any preferred option, Chair and members. We only put in front of you what is the initial modelling show us, and it is for you to decide if you want us to go forward or not.
What about residents? They weren't listed. You didn't list the residents there.
There is we will come back with consultation, and then.
Is it just on those two, or can we as residents speak on the whole 11 points and give our opinions?
Is that a question you wanted to answer?
Yeah. If you just listen.
Okay, I think the way my recommendation, Chair, is we only want to go for these two because we only can model these two. Because at the end of the day, I'm afraid it costs a lot of money to do modeling. If I want to model all of them, will be good, but unfortunately I don't have that much money. So therefore we've done initial modeling, which is just locally. That is why we come up to these two where we felt that is the two where we want to model them. Then after that we can ask the resident for their review. And I don't think it's always our consultation is open. That means residents, they don't have to just say this or this. If they have a different view or they have something else they would like, please do let us know. Do put your review to us and we will have a look at it. Because sometimes you may know better than anybody else because you live there. So therefore, I think it's good. I always encourage our residents to give us feedback and give us what they think. And if they think there is something could work better, by all means, we are all open to any suggestion as an officer, Chair.
Thank you, Eunice. Right, I'd like to call Andy Allen down next. Thank you. Who's from Kingston Cycle Company? Sorry.
Hi there. My name's Andy. I'm here from the Kingston Cycling Campaign. As members will be aware, we've been campaigning for safety improvements to the Fountain Roundabout for many years, and so we welcome this report and the detailed analysis of all the options. The safety case is clear, and the report rightly concludes that the do nothing and do minimum options are not appropriate. This remains one of the most dangerous junctions in the borough for people walking and cycling, and substantial improvements are needed. But the collision statistics only tell part of the story. Every day, residents avoid the hazards of this junction, choosing to go elsewhere, to shop elsewhere, or simply not making journeys at all, because they can't safely or conveniently get to the high street, get to the doctors, or to the bus stops. Even members of this committee have declined to cycle with us here when we do our tours. The report doesn't say all that much about these discouraged journeys, but if we make real improvements, many more people will feel confident to choose to walk, cycle, or catch the bus here compared to today. On the traffic modelling, it has its uses, but it must not become a veto over safety improvements. Also, models rarely account for modal shift, which is a major limitation when the whole point of this scheme is to enable more people to choose walking, cycling, and taking a bus. Modelling should inform the design, but not constrain the outcomes, and is only one part of the wider decision making. So we welcome taking these proposals forward to the next stages, and we really hope the safety improvements are delivered as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Andy. That came in 1 minute, 30 seconds. Well said. Thank you. Mark Rivalani. Have I got the name right? Thank you. Oh, it's your bad writing. Riverland?
Yeah. My name's
Thank you.
Mark Riverland. I've got two very short questions. I'm not sure I understood the maths, but if 4 serious accidents and 1 fatal represents 20%, I think that was what the gentleman said. If we knock off one of those, does it come down to 16? Because that appears to be the maths. Is this all about 1 extra serious accident at the roundabout? Because that's what the maths suggest. Perhaps that figure can be checked for me. The second question I have is very short as well. Can I refer the whole committee and the people behind me to the very first paragraph of this document, this report, paragraph 1.1.2, 2016 petition. The first sentence of this entire document reads, a petition with 576 signatures was presented to the Council in July 2016 against the Fountain Roundabout scheme. To avoid the suggestion of tokenism, namely you listen to us and go ahead anyway, can the committee please tell me whether if we raised 576 signatures against whatever option is decided upon, you would abandon that scheme? And if the number's not 576, what is it? That's my question.
Thank you, Eunice.
Thank you, Chair. I think I can answer the first question. Kingston Council, they would like all to follow the Vision Zero, which means we would like to reduce our casualty further and further. It's
Sorry,
not
the
matter
first question
if
was
one-
just whether one makes a
No,
difference.
it's not, because you're referring by reducing one collision is going to be 16%, but that means still we're still high. We compare in my presentation.
Below the borough average, though.
Sorry, what I said, the borough average is 17, but if we want to go for vision zero, that means we need to reduce the collision everywhere in the borough. We can't accept the 16%, so we need to go lower. So we need to improve the road safety. Therefore, collision need to be better. But to answer your second question, I think well, it's not for me to answer you.
Sorry, just to go to the first question, I accept your point about vision, about zero collisions, but it is correct. We're talking about one extra accident.
If yes.
Okay. Sorry, you were going to answer my second question.
Through the chair, please.
Through the chair, I think the second question is more to members than me, because
yes,
you're asking about...
It is. It is. Anyone like to answer that? What level of opposition will stop you?
Me.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to answer via you the gentleman's first questions, irrespectively of what I might think or not of one death or one casualty is one too many. If I lower by a fifth the numbers of casualty or accident, I will by default lower the average, and therefore the baseline average will no longer be 17%. So ignore 17%. 17% is the average. You compare 20 versus 17. If you lower the 17, the 20 further down to 16, you lower your average. So therefore it's still too high. But the point is one too many, and I think this is what we're trying to explain. Does that answer your question?
It does answer my question.
Thank you.
Thank you. To answer your second question, this won't come back until after the local elections in May. So, if your chair will forgive me for being partisan, it depends on who residents vote for in May as to what the outcome of this will be.
Okay.
Thank you. Next I have, is it Toby Ewan? Evans? Sorry, I can't read the writing. Ewan. Sorry.
The long document said that traffic surveys show the existing roundabout operates at or close to capacity in peak periods. Don't doubt that's true. And we understand why peak periods bother people most. But the whole point about roundabouts is that unlike traffic lights, they facilitate free flow of traffic at periods that are not crowded. And therefore the fact that roundabouts would appear to have that instinctive advantage over crossroads of traffic lights ought to feature somewhere in the thinking, because to make the junction work isn't just about the very busiest times. As for the verified collision data presented in detail, it was fascinating to see that, though a quick glance by an untutored eye, mine, suggests that quite a few of those accidents didn't actually occur on the roundabout. About 7 or 8 occurred on the roundabout. The others were perhaps up to 100 yards away. And whether they were on the roundabout or not, it's not obvious to the untutored eye that they're all because of the nature of the junction, rather than because, say, someone had a heart attack or whatever, that might have happened anyway, wherever they were. We also notice the detailed breakdown on page B42. Casualties have been falling every year in recent years, even without a change to the roundabout layout. I also note in favour of the roundabout concept that, according to the Healthy Streets assessment on page B30, the roundabout option 2B appears to score materially higher than the non-roundabout one, 1D, on most metrics. And also, if I might invite the committee and officers to consider that apart from the roundabout itself, the big challenge with that junction is that there are times of day when there is just too much traffic for any layout to cope with comfortably, and to consider that in the long run, when Cox Crescent gets remodelled and redeveloped, the existing pedestrianised way between Jubilee Square and Burlington Road might offer a sort of release valve that would reduce traffic at the fountain itself if that pedestrianised way was turned into, let's say, a one-way road leading from the Cox Crescent area to Burlington Road.
Thank you. Thank you. Your time's up.
That's fine.
Thank you very much.
Did you want to get a response to that?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, Chair. I think
Sorry,
a lot of
yeah.
the point, yes, I agree with them because some of the collision, they're not specifically at the roundabout, but we need to look is because the theme of the collision, what led to the collision, how the collision happened. So, and at the end of the day, as I said earlier, Chair, we are not here about removing the roundabout. Please, I want members to understand. I don't want to remove anything. All I'm saying, I have two options. I want to go through the modelling. Then after that, I'll bring the result of the modelling. We have engagement with our resident. Then our resident then give us the review. Then I can bring a report back to you here, and I'll show you the outcome of the modelling, the outcome of the engagement, what the resident said, and you make the decision.
Thank you, Eunice. And the final question, Richard Armitage. Have I got the name right? Thank you.
Good evening. I'm not sure whether I'm supposed to be making comments or questions, but I have lived in the borough for 84 years, so I know the Fountain Roundabout quite well. And our house was built in 1896, as I live in Thetford Road, the same time as the fountain was installed where it is today. So there's been a roundabout there for 130 years. It is not a danger spot at all. There are not that many accidents there. And the picture that was shown to us earlier actually proves that. And at a cost of 5 million, if we're going to get 5 million, I'd rather spend it on other things in the borough. Although, is that why you've got the... Are you using Box Junction money to help pay for these sort of silly things? And as for bicycles, the biggest problem with bicycles is these ones at 40 and 50 miles an hour, which are apparently bicycles used by Uber, Just Eat, Deliveroo, pounding down the pavements in New Malden, where no police ever seem to worry them whatsoever. The roundabout is not a problem. You're just trying to spend other people's money for no good purpose.
Thank you. You're going to get a reply from Eunice now.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, thank you for your comment. I appreciate you have been living all these years, and the situation do change. People behavior change, and there is a collision, and we're trying to address it. And if this issue had been raised previously as well, when my colleague was introducing some green scheme at the corner, where a lot of residents will raise the issue about the crossing. It's not safe. We can't cross. We have to negotiate at the roundabout. So I'm afraid I need to disagree with your analysis about there is it's not dangerous, because I feel it is dangerous. Now, when it comes to money, we don't know how much it's going to cost, and we don't have 5 million. No, the 5 million, it is something we said. TfL previously, they had a budget for a scheme up to 5 million, which we can bid for it, but we haven't been successful in it anyway. So there is nothing at the moment. We have no money. So all what we have at the moment, if this is scheme, we're going to do vision, then we're going to do the outcome, then we're going to go to committee make a decision, and if there is a scheme, we're going to go to TfL and ask them to give us money if they agreed with the scheme or not. That is the process, how it's going to work now.
I think there's better ways you can spend your money. I mean, the bicycle track to Kingston is used largely by Deliveroo, Uber and Just Eat on motorcycles and scooters on an area of road designated for bicycles.
Yeah.
I mean,
we can't discriminate.
I fully agree.
They're a bicycle.
I'm working with the police. What else?
Well, sort that out. We don't need traffic lights where the roundabouts exist today. Thank you.
Just to check, were there any other any other questions or comments from the public? Yeah? Very quickly?
Just a couple of points.
Come down to the chair, please. Careful. Those steps are a bit kind of awkward.
My leg's gone numb.
Sitting too long.
Just a couple of points. It must be the busiest part of New Malden. It's no surprise if there's one more collision there, or even two more, or even five more collisions. In fact, the statistics suggest it's remarkably safe for the volume of traffic that goes there. The other is that I did raise a point last time the Fountain Roundabout came up in this forum. There is research to show that roundabouts are safer than traffic lights. I mentioned it last time. Is that not respected? Question?
Eunice?
Thank you, Chair. As I said earlier, we are not committing to any. All what I'm looking at is
yes, I'm asking,
what is
it
the modelling.
respected, that advice? That research.
It depends on the location.
The research that shows that roundabouts are safer than traffic lights. I think it's Dutch research.
Okay, it depends on the location, but there is in some area the roundabout it works better and safer than traffic light. It's each case in its merit. You have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Come down. Sorry, I don't know your names. If you want to introduce yourself.
Chris Hadrill.
Chris?
Hadrill, Hadrill.
Thank you.
So the particular problem that I have with the roundabout is not actually the roundabout itself. It's the Malden Road leading up to the roundabout, where I found that as you cross at the Pressburg crossing, quite a lot of vehicles don't see the lights themselves. And there are cars going too fast off the A3 down there. So surely some of the safety issues can be solved by either greater signage, better signage there, or a speed camera, for example, to stop people from speeding down that road. That's generally, it's just my anecdotal evidence, the only dangerous aspect of that road that I've seen. I've got some questions for Eunice as well, just in terms of the figures that he presented. So when you say, Eunice, that there is a 20%, I wasn't sure it's collision or casualty rate in relation to the roundabout versus 17% borough-wide, is that borough-wide in terms of other roundabouts, or is that borough-wide in terms of just the level of traffic on any road in the roundabout? Because surely roundabouts are going to be, by their nature, where you have people coming on and off, going to be more dangerous in any event. And is the collision or casualty rate for the Malden Fountain roundabout statistically significant for roundabouts of a similar nature to it as well? Because it's quite an exceptional roundabout. You don't get many that large and with that volume of traffic going on and off it. Finally, third question. Has the disruption of any work that would be done on the traffic been considered in terms of, if you have to shut that roundabout for a period of time, are you not impeding the flow of traffic in a greater sense than you would just leaving it as it is overall? So those are my questions.
I'm going to answer it. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chris. About the first one, about the figures, what I said is about is 20% out of the 24 collision. But this 20%, comparing to the rest, which is 17. 17, as far as I know, is about junction. Is because we don't have that much roundabout similarly. So overall, at a lot of junction, we've picked up, which is about 17% on average we have collision. So we said here it is higher than any other junction. About the first point, I fully agree with you. There is an issue there, and some ward members already write to me about it, and they said, you need to do something. And I said, as a part of this exercise, we need to improve this point, because what happened is the people wait at the bus stop, or if there is a bus as well, and after the roundabout, they don't look for anything except they want to just John Malden Road, so they jump the red light, and that is as well its effect on the pedestrians. So yes, I fully agree, and it is something, if members, we're going to go as a part of that, we will address it as a part of it, but even if there is nothing members going to approve at the end, this is something I wanted to address it and find what else could be done in order to improve it.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Oh, so one comment as well, just on opening up on a left turn onto Thetford Road. To the members, please don't do that, because there is a large amount of traffic that goes up and down that road anyway, and it is very difficult to get your car in and out of that, in and out of our driveway in any event. Lots of children down that road. Flowing more traffic down that road is just going to present a greater problem rather than solve any issues, in my view.
Yeah. Well, I live off there, so that's fine.
Can I just ask a quick question?
Come on. Otherwise, we're going to run out of time for a lot of other. We've got a lot of other topics as well, not just this.
Has any modelling been done yet of the Fountain Roundabout? Yeah. Can I just ask a quick question? I've noticed recently, right now, for instance, there's a lot of work going on Presborough Road, and at a period last year, there was quite a significant amount going on the High Street in New Malden, and I noticed a number of cameras that were up filming or perhaps doing modelling of the roundabout at a time when the traffic was not flowing as it would normally flow because of the roadworks in the surrounding area. I think it's only reasonable that when modelling is done, it is done at a time when all of the roads around the roundabout are fully operational, so that it gives a fair reflection of the traffic flow around there. Because my view is it is not as bad as it could be easily portrayed at a time when there are traffic lights 300 metres away whilst they're filling in a manhole or something of that nature. I just wanted to make that observation.
I think there is a difference about doing modelling and between doing a survey. So if I am doing a survey to the junction in order to see the traffic using the junction, I have to make sure there is nothing in the surrounding area or there is nothing impacting on that. For example, when we want to do a survey to establish the effectiveness of scheme, we can't do the survey if there is something else happening. But the modelling, it's the way how it has been done as initial modelling, which will have an old data, and we'll put it on the modelling software. Then the measurement of the layout, its geometric layout, it's the same, it doesn't change. So therefore, that it is fixed already, data we have previously, we put it in the system, and the system will tell us what it is, the Q length, and what is impact. So we use that as initial. We didn't use it as in more details because there is a cost implication. As I said earlier, we had a number of options, and we have to sift through that. So that is why we did this initial modeling in order to come to these two where we felt this ticks most of the boxes. So that is what we want to spend money, about £30,000 on doing VISM in order to do these two projects, so to scheme. And I think that it is, I don't know if that answers the question.
It was more of a statement than needing a response, but thank you.
Right, thank you. Any members' comments? Councillor Durrant, and then Councillor Bolton. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. And can I just say thank you to everybody for coming along on a cold January evening and giving your comments. It's certainly something that's given us pause for thought, I think. And I think we need to listen to our community. We've done that here, and we have also done that, you know, in the community as well. And for me, the Fountain Roundabout is an absolutely essential part of New Malden. I do understand the safety concerns brought to you by the officers. And so what I propose to do is to put an amendment in which strikes out option 1D and goes forward with a consultation for option 2B, Dutch-style roundabouts, and do nothing, and I'd welcome a second.
I'll second.
Thank you. Eunice, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. As I said earlier, as an officer, we can put our recommendation, but the decision is yours. I want to make it clear to you here, what we are suggesting as an officer is to do the modeling of these two, then see the outcome of this modeling, then have the engagement with our resident. Then after that, we can bring all this data here, and you can make your decision. Because at the end of the day, with or without, you're gonna decide later on if the modeling, if the Dutch roundabout is gonna do what we want to do, and there is an implication on the network. So if you choose one, then you discover that it's not gonna tick all the boxes and giving you what we want. And TfL gonna tell me I'm not gonna give you money, gonna have an implication on my buses. Then in that case, though, you end up with nothing. So I want to make it a point clear to you, members. Instead of only going into that route, I advise members to go with the recommendation because you're not approving anything at the moment. You're only approving these two schemes to go into modeling, then into engagement, then bring the result here, then you can make that decision yourself. That will be my advice as an officer to you, and as my duty as an officer to you, members and chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Eunice. Councillor Bolton.
Thank you very much, Chair. I'm absolutely delighted that my friend and colleague, Councillor Durrant, has come up with this suggestion. From my reading of the paperwork, those two options there are the same in terms of safety improvements. So they both improve things as well as the other, both equally good. One of them gets rid of the Fountain Roundabout, which I'm totally opposed to. The other one keeps it. So from my point of view, I would fully and wholeheartedly support the option which improves safety and keeps the Fountain Roundabout, namely the Dutch-style option. And I completely understand what Eunice has just told us. If it turns out that the Dutch-style option isn't the silver or golden bullet or whatever, then perhaps back to the drawing board. But I certainly would not support any option which involved losing the Fountain Roundabout.
Councillor Sillett.
Well, I concur with my colleague here. I just wanted to ask we think the roundabout, I think Toby made a very good point about roundabouts when it's not peak time do work, and we don't want signal. There seems to be no appetite among us for a signalised cyclops scheme. But I wonder, would it work if we had I think there are crossings needed there. Could we have the do minimum modelled as an option rather than do nothing? So I think we accept that something needs to be done, and we would like to make improvements. But if we did our do minimum, at least we get some crossings there, and then we can compare it with the Dutch style roundabout.
Councillor Giles had his hand up next.
Thank you, and I welcome this Damascene conversion to everybody wanting to retain the roundabout at this junction. I think the points have been made very well. After this amendment, Chair, I have one further additional recommendation to add, and I'll reserve comment on that till afterwards, but I'm registering it with you now. My only comment would be, as it currently stands, is to concur with Councillor Sillett. I originally agreed to allocate £100,000 to work at this junction because it was said that it was going to add a zebra crossing at the Kingston Road end of the junction, which I hope we can all agree is desperately needed there. That money was instead wasted on consultants, £200,000 now, on producing the papers we have in front of us today. And so it is crucial, having wasted so much taxpayers' money, that something comes out of this. Well, no, it's still taxpayers' money, Councillor Henderson. It may be TfL's pot. It's still all of us that pay for it. It's our taxes that pay.
Yeah.
Thank you. And so, regardless of whether it's a wider reconfiguration which keeps the roundabout or a zebra crossing, we can't just let this money go to waste. So I would hope Councillor Dunt would be amenable to having the do minimum or the Dutch-style roundabout. Thanks.
Councillor Durrant.
I would concur with Councillor Sillett and Councillor Giles that I think we should have a do minimum option or the option 2B.
Eunice.
Thank you, Chair. I think, first of all, we need to ask ourselves what's the objective here and what we want to do here. We have 2 points. This number of points. We as an authority, we are encouraging active travel. What is active travel? Active travel, it means we want to encourage our residents to walk, to cycle, and to use public transport. So if you're going to do minimum, cyclists benefit nothing out of this. So you're only going to benefit some pedestrian crossing, and then you're going to have a delay on that junction. And I don't know how that is going to impact on the buses. So if that impact on the buses, we're not going to be paid for it, because as TfL make it clearly, any implication in their buses, they do not support. So therefore, I want members to ask themselves what we want to achieve first, before we start going to recommendation. So I feel is, as an officer, do minimum, it's not something we would like you to model, because that does not address the cycling's need for the area. So we're doing a lot of work further down, but you can't just leave the cyclists at the roundabout with nothing happen there. You need to link them and you need to connect them, and that is what we want to do. And that is what we need to bear in mind. So therefore, do minimum, it is something we do not think it will have the benefit on the roundabout as we want it to be.
Thank you. No comments from the public, I'm afraid. I'm just working by the rules, okay? Thank you. Councillor Durrant.
I really appreciate Officer Hamad's responses there, and I can understand his view, but I mean, ultimately, we're a democracy. We have to react and respond to what residents are telling us, and what residents are telling us is that we need to keep the fountain. So let's move forward on an option of either do minimum or my preferred option, which is option 2B for a Dutch-style roundabout. Thank you.
That helps cyclists, does it not? Yes. So you've been misleading the committee.
So option 2B does?
Yes, that's right, and that's going to be considered. Yes. Yet the officer was saying that what you're suggesting doesn't do anything for cyclists.
Talking about the minimum. That was two minimums. Yeah.
Sorry, sir, he was talking about the do minimum.
Yeah, anybody else for comment? Councillor Tracy.
Yes, I just think it's a shame that we've been talking about this roundabout for absolutely years, and that we've already had the money to put a crossing in and we spent it on talking, and yet we're going to talk again. You say you listen, but have you listened for years and years? Obviously not, because we're still here again. It's like Groundhog Day. What a shame.
Is that everybody's comments? Yep. Okay, so we're going to vote on the motion proposed by, the amendment by Councillor Durrant. Would you like to just repeat that so that everybody knows what they're voting on? Thank you.
It basically is option 2 up there, but we strike out option 1D, full cyclops, and put in the minimum option instead.
Thank you, Councillor Durrant. We're going to vote now. Off you go. We're running out of time.
I know we're running out. Sorry.
We're going to have to shelve some of the items.
Yeah, I'll be very quick. But just to make sure that the audience, the residents actually know, safety is the main concern. And so this Dutch one is, as suggested by the officers, quite a safe option, but it keeps the roundabout. That's the main thing.
Yes.
Thank you. Can we go to the vote now? So those in favour of Councillor Durrant's amendment, please put your hands up.
Oh, it's unanimous in favour.
Thank you. And then we're going to vote.
I have another amendment to propose, please, as I gave you notice a moment ago.
You did. Have you got a seconder?
I do.
Yes.
My amendment is to add a recommendation 5, which is to rule out changes to the existing traffic management measures at the Thetford Road, Malden Road junction. We must, as part of this, make sure that the no left, no right turn is sacrosanct, is maintained. Councillor Tracy is seconding that.
Does that include Presborough Road not changing as well?
And Presborough.
I know, but would it mean that Presborough Road wouldn't be blocked off as well?
We're not talking about Presborough Road.
I would
He's only talking about the Thetford Road, Malden Road, no right turn where there's a camera.
That's the one that I'm primarily talking about.
Can we just deal with that first? Yeah.
You are voting on what? It doesn't exist. I'm just trying to understand. No, I'm trying. So what you want to do then? Are you saying the existing restriction it need to be changed, or I'm just trying to understand you, or remain?
He's saying he wants it to be kept.
Okay, that's fine. So what you want recommendation?
Yeah, but there's no movement to move it, to change it.
The draft proposals which came before members of this committee must have been sometime last year, included reference to an option as part of further modelling that would have reopened the Thetford Road. And so I just want it made crystal clear by a vote of this committee that that will not be altered.
Eunice, do you want
to well,
It's not part of 2B, is it?
It's not part of the recommendation.
I don't want modelling that includes reopening Thetford Road. I want to be very clear on that. It's got a second that I'd like it voted on.
there?
So,
he wants to make sure we don't touch that junction for any future scheme we are doing in the area. That's the message.
Correct.
Okay.
Can we do that?
Yes.
Those in favour of the amendment?
It's your call. You can do whatever you want.
No vote.
That's unanimous.
Right, so we're voting now on the other things. Massimi?
Okay.
Sorry, Councillor Massimi. Did you abstain?
Okay.
Oh, he was. He said that he wasn't sure. You did. Thank you.
Is that unanimous?
So now we need to vote on the substantive
All right,
motion,
can we
which is
go
everything together.
Right.
You can nod.
And 2 is, taking 1D out.
Right, so can we vote on the substantive motion on that? Is everybody happy to vote all in one go for that? Yeah? Those in favour?
Again, unanimous, Chair.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Moving on.
Could you press it to go further?
Those who don't want to stay any further, you're welcome to have the rest of your evening, what's left of it. Those who want to stay behind and see the committee in action, then please stay.
Basically,
Just approve Golf Radio and let me go home. It's there.
All right. Right, okay, continuing on. Thank you. Right, item 7, introduction of the Green Man aspect to the existing traffic light signal at the junction of Goldsworthy Road, Coombe Lane West and Gloucester Road and Coombe Road. I'm going to invite, sorry. This is to, oh, no, I haven't been, okay. I propose the recommendations outlined on page C1 of the report, and the recommendation is to note the decision of the Kingston North Kingston Neighbourhood Committee in relation to the implementation of a Green Man phase at the junction of Goldsworthy Road, Coombe Lane West, Gloucester Road and Coombe Road once funding is secured. Do I have a seconder? Thank you.
I'll second that, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Henson. And I'd like to invite Eunice, our Principal Engineer, to introduce this item. Thank you.
Sorry, this issue it has been in our agenda for quite some time, and recently we have done one model, and that it is to give a better understanding of the situation has been changed and what will happen if we introduce all the red at this junction and to provide a green man. So the initial, the indicative result we have received, it shows is durable, and there's gonna be some impact, but the impact, the network can deal with that. So therefore, we already discussed this with TfL, and now we are moving forward. TfL was happy with the initial indicative modelling, and they wanted us to take it to further modelling. So that is why I took this report to Kingston. As you know, this location falls between two neighbourhoods, which really I don't like, but anyway, it falls between two neighbourhoods, between Kingston and Malden and Old Malden. So it already been to Kingston, and Kingston approved that scheme. And it's for you members to note, then when we proceed forward with this design and take it toward the delivery when funding become available. So next stage is we continue talking to TfL. TfL tell us if they are happy, then we have to wait till 27, 28 till we can put our bid to TfL, because currently we don't have the money to do it because we didn't expect that. So now we are in the right track. So hopefully we have been waiting too long and we are able to introduce the green man at the junction of Goldsworthy, Gloucester, Coombe Road, Coombe Lane West in 27, 28 if funding is being given to us by TfL. Thank you. Take any question, Chair.
Yeah, thank you. Councillor Sillett, you had to have a hand up.
It's really good news, Eunice, that, and as you've mentioned, it's been so many years. Anybody spending any time at this junction will clearly see the need for it. It's, you know, people going to, I mean, I can just about skip off being a young, active person. I didn't expect laughter to that, but there's a hospital there. So you see people on crutches, you see older people, and it's really difficult. There's no phased delay at all, so you're really relying on people not mowing you down as they turn around. My only worry is 27, 28, oh, it seems a long way off. I'm really worried that somebody's going to get knocked over in the meantime. Is there any way, my question to you, is there any way we can speed that up?
Thank you, Eunice.
I can assure you I would like it to be implemented as quickly as possible. So the minute I have proof, I have the green light from TfL, so we will have a look if funding could be in any reserve or something. So I'm definitely doing my best in order to really push it, because I've been here years. 30 years, so during all these years before Councillor Charles was born. So, so yes, so I would like that to be done really as quickly as possible. I can assure you that it is something, it's like a legacy I'm going to leave behind. Thank you.
Any more comments from members on this item? No. So we're just noting that. We're not voting on that. So we've noted that and we can move on.
Agreed.
Thank you. Agreed. And moving quickly on, we have planned highway maintenance and street lighting capital programme. And, oh, this is also for comments only, and we're just waiting for the officer to come back from the bathroom. Thanks, Eunice.
Move on to the next item if you want to. We can come back to that.
Oh, okay.
Up to you, Chair.
Yes, we do the grants then.
Right, okay. The neighbourhood grants. So we've got 3 grants this evening. There isn't quite enough to sort of divide it all between everybody, but we're only short of £100, so perhaps one of the councillors could chip in for that. So we've got application for 3,000 community grant from Nanoom UK CIC as set out in paragraphs 5 to 14 of the report. Is the...
Excuse me, Chair, could I suggest we swap it around and just do Rotary Club first, because they're in attendance?
Oh, okay.
Are the others not coming?
Well, one's had to cry off sick and the other's had an appointment that had to leave for.
Right, okay. Right, can we have the Rotary Club?
Roger, you're on.
Roger Martin, would you like to... Sorry. Right. This is to consider an application for £3,000 of neighbourhood community grant from the Rotary Club of New Malden as set out in paragraphs 15 to 21 of the report. Thank you. Yeah, would you like to... are you going to introduce it?
Thank you, Chair, for that. Yeah, it's an application for £3,000 to support the Rotary Club putting on the
then he can go home.
Santa light up. Please note that this would normally be heard before the event, but due to the calendar and other applications, we are doing it post-event.
So it's for last year.
Yeah, the ones come.
Thank you, Roger. If you could sort of be brief, as it's getting late and we're all getting tired. Thank you.
This application came in, as was pointed out by Ralph, and should have been really for the centre that's gone, but actually it still applies to the centre that's coming. What we have here is a community grant that helps support the amount of money that has to be spent by Rotary, in addition to its charitable givings, on the community lights, basically. Both Santa going down the high street and meeting the kids in St George's Square, to the lights themselves. And to give you just a few indicators, those lights that are in the centre will survive probably for another 2 or 3 years, 3-4 years maybe, if we're lucky. When they get replaced, it's Rotary that pays for them. Rotary has used its monies from the past to pay for these. If we go for a new set of lights, then we have to be looking at somewhere between 10 and 15,000. And put it also into context, because I have 2 roles. I'm Rotary, but I'm also a member of the New Malden Partnership. And for my sins or otherwise, finished up with the lights there. If you ever wonder about the lights and the trees, which go rather more frequently, they cost £1,000 a piece. £1,000 a tree, really, is that's the ballpark figure. You know, why spend that money? Because actually what we've created over the time is a community activity that is starting to draw in more and more people, as we've seen on the roads. I mean, I think virtually every year we've seen, and certainly in the post-COVID period, there's been an increased number of people in the roads. That means actually not only are they enjoying something as residents and visitors, but they are actually creating footfall for the businesses in the high street, for the hospitality of which the high street is mainly now in that direction. So I think that we're actually trying to give something back, which was the whole idea. But for that, we would be very grateful if it was possible to have some support, so as we go forward, we at least know that we have a base figure, which, by the way, at 3,000 is less than would be paid for just the Santa switch on. And that's excluding what the partnership is dealing with in creating Jubilee Square. So,
thank you.
I put my case.
Thank you. So, any members, any questions or comments? Councillor Giles and then Councillor Massimi. Thank you.
Thanks. I mean, look, whilst I have concern in principle with allocating what I'd consider revenue grant funding to events after they've taken place, for me, it's the capital spend here on the lights, which, you know, to my mind, in an ideal world, the council would pay for anyway and leave the poor Rotary Club alone. But, you know, Rotary do kindly provide them for us, and it's a fantastic fixture every year in the community. And so, you know, purely on the capital cost of the lights alone, I'd be delighted to support this application.
Massimi?
Thank you, Chair. Well, I would like to thank the Rotary for being really part of what makes New Malden part of the fabric of New Malden, from the clock, from the actual fountain on a roundabout is also Rotary funding and support. And I think, you know, they deserve a lot of credit for making what the High Street is today, for the engagement, for the collections, for the support, for everything they do for
children, school, family needs. We need more members. We need people to join more events, and I think they are key. We were talking about the importance of the roundabout in New Malden and the central point and what is New Malden. Well, the Rotary is really a key part of New Malden, so I fully support this, and I hope that more people will join and help with collections and many more activities. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you. Anybody else? Councillor Thorpe.
This is really a last opportunity to say that I think one of the highlights of my year as Deputy Mayor and Lynn's year as Deputy Mayoress was sitting on Santa's sleigh, going down the high street with the lights coming on as we went along. It's an abiding memory. But I'm slightly worried that you've now given Councillor Henderson a challenge, which is to spend £1,000 on putting lights on the garden in our house, the tree in our garden. I know she will. So that's a downside. But honestly, it was a fantastic moment. We still have the photos. Somebody took a photograph of us on the sleigh, and I found it on Facebook, and it's the one that we've kept. We were waving at Leslie in the crowd. Yes, it's brilliant. Anyway, so thank you for that. It was brilliant, and I certainly support this.
Councillor Bolton, did you want to speak?
Just very briefly to say that I fully support this. I was happy to give some of my council ward funding to the emergency Christmas tree lights because that was an absolutely essential thing to do for the people of New Malden. But thank you for everything you do, and I fully support it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any more, or shall we quickly?
Yeah, I absolutely support this the application because my experience it was wonderful over the Christmas period because lots of children, family they're coming out, they're enjoying this communities all together. So there is no objection for even any reason to not to approve this one. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Park. Right, so I'm going to propose allocation of £3,000 to Rotary Club of New Malden. Do I have a seconder, Councillor
Second
Henderson?
it, Chair.
Thank you.
Those in favour, please raise your hands. Unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, we'll go to George now. Sorry, you nipped out.
Through this, if
No. I'll come back to it in a minute.
fine.
George wants to go home.
I'll do this at the end. You're running out of time. We're running out of time. Okay. The other people aren't here. Yeah. Okay. Right. Let's do Kingston Carers. Thank you.
Can we just agree on the nod maybe that 1900 to 900 to Kingston Carers. Councillor Tracy, perhaps if she's willing, can throw in the 100 or someone else, and 3,000 to Nanoom, and just have that just agreed just on the nod.
I would. If you'd like to propose that, I'll be happy to second that.
Perfect. Agreed.
Okay. Thank you.
Agreed. Yeah.
Excellent. Moving back. Okay.
I was going to say for convenience, sorry if we're on time, this is only for consideration as well. I'm happy to deal with any questions separately by member inquiry if needs be. If it's just like we're under the gun, for want of a better phrase. Yeah, or
We'll be quick, George.
happy to. Fine.
Right,
Thank
so
you.
introducing George Vickers, engineer, to present his
Plan maintenance
Thank you.
report. Thank you, Chair. The committee is asked to comment on the proposed 26-27 carriageway and footway maintenance programme relevant to the respective neighbourhood as set in Annex 2 of this report, and the high-level maintenance plan for DFT funding, depending on how that works, and I'll elaborate as we go through the report. Key point A, update on progress of carriageway and footway schemes set out in Annex 1, and also the street lighting scheme setting out in Annex 3. The proposed programme for plan maintenance is set out in Annex 2, and there's a separate note about street lighting, which I'll get to. The key point is basically key point C, that the council had received funding from the Department for Transport last year, and following the recent budget last month, there was a further 4-year programme set out by the Department for Transport, which will give the council guaranteed baseline funding of just under 3.8 million over a 4-year period, with a further 4-year incentive funding of 2.2 million, basically. This is what Annex 4 details, and it's frankly what we would do if the entire allocation for next year was put to planned maintenance, which it won't be, but this is just our initial, if it was, this is what we would be thinking to do with it, so that people are aware of where we would be coming from that point of view. The DFT funding is split, and it can be split on any maintenance of any highway infrastructure. So our structures department has basically made a comment for some of it. Street lighting we have from point of view of planned maintenance, as has the council's reactive maintenance team. The council's highway network is basically its most visible and valuable asset due to the size of it, which is just under 350 kilometres. Basically, it falls within the council's public highway maintenance boundary. So, yeah, there's a large degree of consideration for that. Looking at Annex 2, the roads that we're putting forward in this borough to do planned maintenance on, and I will just go through each one of them with a small condition note. Bear with, sorry. Why have I not got Annex? Sorry, no. I've just printed my pages in the wrong order. Apologies. First road, Alric Avenue, between sections number 18 and 86. Basically, we only do a small section of it. Bottom section, the Coombe road end is in good condition. We're focusing on the worst section, which scored on our annual surveys last year, and the worst 21% on surveys. Basically, it's a bad section with aggregate loss. Once you start to see aggregate loss in a road, you're basically going to get a domino effect of failures, basically. So we're trying to get in now before it gets notably worse. Bargate is the next road that we're going for. Whole road's being done there. Scored worst 6%, basically, on survey last year. So in other words, if we're not looking at that, what are we looking at? Joints are opening up due to aggregate loss again. That's the common theme amongst the majority of these roads. Next road up we are doing is Cadmere Close. We're doing the whole road. Whole road scored worst 9% on survey. Again, the theme was aggregate loss, so you're starting to see structural failure throughout the road. So it's a case of deal with it now, or it will get notably worse. Next road up is is Rodney Close, basically. Worst 2%. I appreciate that it's a cul-de-sac, but again, we're looking at roads that are in poor condition. That is a road that's in poor condition. Church Road, we've got... Yeah, go for it. Yeah, Church Road, we've got a section, Manor Drive to Boundary Road, basically. Worst section is scored on 12% on surveys. This will get done in the school holiday due to the presence of the schools down there. Columbia Avenue, whole road is being done. Worst 4% on surveys last year. Joints opening up with aggregate loss failure again, which is causing other structural effects. Elm Road, Chestnut Grove to Barton Green section, and that was worst 2%. Again, that will be focused during the school holidays due to the presence of the school down there. Common theme again, severe aggregate loss, and you're starting to see reinstatements that were carried out previously as part of reactive maintenance down there starting to fail. Risborough Drive is the next road up, worst 9%, so again, common theme. The majority of the roads that have been put forward this year for this committee area were scored in the worst 10% on survey. Basically, joints are opening up with cracks and failures, and you've got aggregate loss. Final road that we're putting forward for this area, the section is basically on Westbury Road. Worst 12% on survey for the whole road. The section was worst 5%, basically. School holidays again, you've got a bus down there and you've got a school, so you've got a trip generator, so that it's just basically another reason why it's brought forward. Yes, severe aggregate loss plus reinstatement is the issue. Footway that you're putting forward for this area is Green Lane, which supports the resurfacing works that were done recently, and it's also something that was flagged by the reactive maintenance team. Looking at Annex 4, depending on what we get for the DFT funding, as this is one of the subjects being raised, there was a couple of U roads that have also been flagged, like Dickeridge Road got flagged, section of that, as well as Pressburg Road's also got flagged for this committee area. Yeah, in terms of street lighting, they didn't have a programme that was ready to bring to this committee. So what they're doing is structural testing during the fourth quarter, basically, and it's a case of if something fails on structural testing, it's highly likely to go on the programme. Yeah, and I think that is the bulk of what we're looking at here. Happy to take questions.
Anybody? Councillor Bolton, I saw your hand up first.
Thank you very much, Chair. Just very quickly, thank you very much indeed, George. Thank you as ever for your hard work throughout the neighbourhood, but in particular want to say thanks for the work that's to be done Elm Road, Chestnut Grove to Barton Green. This is an area that we've often reported, particularly at the bottom of Mount Pleasant and the top of Lime Grove. It's a bit of a hodgepodge. So brilliant to have that done. Can you say when, I know which year it'll be done in, but roughly, you mentioned school holidays for that.
Sorry, yeah, no, this is all for the 26-27 programme. So basically, 1st of April, new budget starts, and we've penciled in permitted dates subject to this report going. So we're trying to get this programme moving in April like we did this year, next year, basically.
But it is brilliant, though, George. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
Thanks. I mean, look, it's really good to see Green Lane on this list. It's a footpath that a number of residents have raised with us. The only thing I just wanted to take away, because we've discussed a few other roads like Graham Road offline, George. I know you're aware of those. But actually, it's just to flag to you, if I may, the condition of Green Lane, the resurfacing work that's been done. There's a number of manhole covers on the road, but actually, I wonder if someone could just go and inspect the work that's been done, because already there's quite a few bumps on the road and quite a few dips around those manhole covers. And so I don't know what the sort of warranty on the resurfacing is, but there's probably a little bit of snagging, I think, to be done there.
Absolutely fine, no issue with that. I'll take that up with my senior plan maintenance engineer for the borough, who basically would have inspected the works when they were done. There is a defects correction period, and on occasion you do find issues that do come up during that period that can be corrected. So yeah, we're happy to look at that. Thank you.
Councillor Thorpe.
A question and an observation. So the question is, so this is a list that goes to Place Committee and they will make a decision. Yeah. Will this get straight through Place Committee, or is there going to be some argy-bargies that just usually go straight through?
I'm not party to what goes on in Place Committee, but during the 4 years, well, this will be coming up to my 4th year in charge, typically what's gone to Place Committee has been taken through on that basis, but I would imagine there is grounds for something being changed if deemed appropriate.
So I don't have to say you must do ours. But you
No. In principle, what's down, unless something substantial comes up, would go through unless something comes up between now and then, basically. Thank you.
The observation really is, so we're dealing with the ones that are down in the 6, 7, 9, 4%. They must have been close to that last year. I mean, do these things fall off a cliff in the last year, or is it just...
It can happen. Best example, Franks Avenue, which Councillor Giles raised a couple of years ago. We didn't have it on the radar. Councillor Giles raised it as a member inquiry, as you do, which everyone's open to, and I know several people, councillors around the table, have raised members' inquiries with me. Occasionally, roads, when they approach their end of life or getting towards that way, do, for want of a better word, I think the phrase you used, drop off a cliff in terms of condition. Really that suddenly the aggregate is there 1 year, the following year it isn't, the year after that you're getting structural failures that's starting to spring up, and it's like, are we going to deal with this? So yeah, it can be that quick. Thank you.
Interesting, thank you.
Next. Councillor Coogan.
Thank you, Chair. In addition to roadworks, I see along Coombe Lane West many artery roads. I mean, in addition to Coombe Lane West, lots of surface flooding. So both pedestrians and cyclists are impacted. And yesterday, walking along Coombe Lane West, there was about 8 blocked gullies. This is after somebody actually came and did some roadworks there. So it's completely compacted because the debris is not being swept. So there's street cleaning, there's blocked drains, there's surface flooding. Then, if you want active travel, pavements are in a dire state in so many parts of my ward. So I want to know how does these fit into your jigsaw puzzle of active travel as well as highways maintenance? Thank you.
Yeah, sure. The only function I cover, unfortunately, is fully planned maintenance. So basically, if you're looking for full width resurfacing, like most people came around that roundabout outside to get here this evening, that's got resurfaced as part of our programme, basically. So if you're looking for resurfacing from curb to curb, basically, that is us. If you're looking for pothole issues, that'd be reactive maintenance. Gullies could be reported to reactive maintenance. Again, both of these could be flagged on the defects page on the council's website. Street cleansing is a completely separate issue. That I'm sure there's a street cleansing department. In fairness, I imagine there's neighbourhood services or something to that effect. If it's utilities, it's potentially a streetworks issue, or you take it up with the utility company in question. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of the points that you've raised just during that are outside of my remit, so it'd be difficult for me to comment.
I mean, thank you for that, but they all impact on each other. So they did the roadworks and they left the gullies blocked. So this is after weeks and weeks of the thing being closed. So I'm just saying, people are just, it's just the public ethos is not there. People are just doing their little bit, and even if they make a muck of the other impact, they don't seem to report it. Councillors are not cheap backstops to keep having to report something that should be maintained across the board. Thank you.
I would agree. It's unfortunate I cannot comment, as the majority of the points you're making there are outside of my direct remit, but I would accept the point that you're making. Yeah.
And discuss it within high.
Happy to.
Thank you.
Councillor Durrant.
Thank you, Chair. I would just like to say thank you very much for sorting out Ulrich Avenue. That's one that we've been going on about for some time. So thank you for that. Pressburg Road as well as another bad one on our area, and Westbury Road as well. So I'm pleased to see those and others in our ward have been sorted. I am going to quickly lobby again for Park View. The pavements, I think we've talked about this before. It is quite bad down there, and so I would advocate for those to be looked at again. And also, I do have to say, I am very, very worried about my very elderly neighbour in Albany Road. Those pavements are terrible, and please can you have another look at those? Thank you.
Thank you. Obviously, we duly note all of the comments being made here. Basically, to take forward, it's like even if we can't include them for this year, there's considerations we've got to make for years going forward, and particularly with DFT money, you've got 4 years worth of funding basically. So we're trying to think on that basis. Like, in other words, if we're not dealing with it year one, what could be used in year 4 potentially? So yeah, absolutely, we'll be listening to those comments. Thank you.
I mean, regular road surveys. If you can share it with the councillors, that would be good, because all the time I've been a councillor, I don't think, even though keep asking.
Hang on a minute. What's going on?
No, surveys of, roads like pavements, roads, debris, gullies,
Can we
everything.
go in turn, please?
Thank you,
Did
Chair.
you have
Good
another
evening.
comment?
It's okay. I hope, I think George got the gist of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Massimi.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, George. That's my favourite time. All right. Well, thanks for Churchford. I will stop having nightmares. Can you just confirm that this will be from the section of the Manor Drive North roundabout all the way down to Boundary Lodge? So that will include the width restrictions all the way down, which is the really worst section, correct?
Yeah, what I've got noted down is Manor Drive to Borough Boundary.
Manor Drive to okay, that's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. Boundary Lodge. Okay,
that's what's noted here.
Yeah.
But if there's a question on the specifics,
no, it's fine.
I can pick that up.
It's perfect. May I ask for the record 2 roads that I would like to mention to be looked at? They are in a very, very poor conditions. Avondale and Turner Road in the Panthers Estate. And lastly, I would like to know if, like some of my colleagues, we could look again at some of the walkways, especially in Aldridge Rise. We have an extremely poor and dangerous walkway all along. That would be great to see in the year 2 or 3 if some of the funding at some stage can be allocated to full walkway.
Yeah, look, I don't think that's an unreasonable thing to say. So, like, we'll obviously look at all the comments being made here and think about how things could be included going forward, potentially, depending on the needs elsewhere in the boroughs. Like, obviously, this is my 4th of 4 committees. Other neighbourhood committees were also making similar requirements, so it's a balancing act. But yeah, happy to look at that. Thank you.
Thank you, George. I appreciate it.
Right, okay. Can we move on now? Yeah? Agreed. Thank you. So the last item is neighbourhood managers. We're not having the community safety presentation. That has been deferred until the March meeting. So I'll introduce Ralph Hyde. Thank you.
I've got a lot to say, but I'll keep it very brief, considering. Councillors, two things to know. I'm interviewing 10 candidates for the position of Ranger next week, sorry. So hopefully we'll have one in place by the end of February at the latest. We've got one temporary starting on Monday anyway for a couple of months, so I'm aiming to address a lot of needs. And also we've adopted a new graffiti policy which I'll be circulating to you to show how it impacts around your wards. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. There being no further items by the chair, I shall close this meeting at 22:11. That's 11 minutes past 10. Thank you, and thank you for your input tonight, ladies and gentlemen.
Bloody hell.